I didn't even see y'all. Hey, what's up, y'all? Great continuation. What's up, Chief? Hey, y'all. I guess it's a great day to be alive, y'all. We're going to have to figure some stuff out. Okay? We're going to just have to figure some stuff out. So, um, we're going to, let me see. I'm going to start this up. Great continuation to y'all. I might even play the song, y'all. Why not? Everybody still like that song over here anyway, right? I ain't gonna even start that what they was doing over there, y'all. I don't have a front. I just got a new PC, and it don't have a back camera, so that's kind of freaking me out. Cause y'all know I don't like to be on the camera. But what's up? Y'all all right? I ain't fussing. I ain't fussing today, y'all. I see you, Chief. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Sharon. Um, I'm not fussing today. Last night I was really pissed off. Y'all know it too, right? But today it's like I don't even understand the fact that our people, me and my sister was talking, and it's like maybe it's because we're older that we feel the way we feel. Because it just seems like it's not phasing the people what's really going on, you know. And I saw this video today and I thought I would share it um, because it's so prevalent to what we're going through. We know that there's some people that have put all these things in place. And it's up to us to find out the people, find out. Can y'all hear me in the chat? First of all, I should be on the stage. Can y'all hear me? Y'all not saying that. Can I be heard? I know y'all see me. Hey, but can you hear me? I'm asking Chief now. Can you hear me? Because y'all not responding and I'm just going on and on and on. Can y'all hear me? I don't know what happened just then. Oh, okay. Great. Thank you, C. I'm just talking and I'm like, if y'all ain't heard nothing I'm saying, I don't know what I said. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna see if it'll share from here. If not, I'm gonna put it on the TV and turn it around. So let's see if it's gonna do what I needed to do here. Let's see. I don't know. It don't look like it's gonna do it right there. So I'm gonna do it right here. Gosh, let's see. No. That's not gonna work. I'm gonna have to go and do it on the TV. It's just not gonna work what I was trying to do, y'all. It'll show the. There we go, right there. Okay. Okay, here we come, y'all. Y'all know I'm learning, right? Y'all know I'm learning. Bear with me. Okay. Now we're gonna turn this around. Okay. And I'm gonna start this. Let me see. Can y'all see it? Let me see. I'm gonna pull around over here.
Ending war against tribal sovereignty.
Go back. I stopped y'all and ran y'all all the way back. When y'all still right there? Y'all, they talking all about this tribal stuff, y'all, and I think it's very important that we should know it, okay? So this is what we're gonna be on tonight. It's a 4-hour video, y'all. I don't know how much of it we're gonna get, but we're gonna get this. Let me see what it is. That man right there, he started the mining safety. He started the safety of mining. You know what I'm saying when I say mining, right? Mining. Can y'all see it? Let me see what I need to do. Oh, I know what I need to do. I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. There we go, y'all. Let's see. Can y'all see that? I'm gonna pull up a little bit further. We're gonna get closer, y'all. We're gonna get closer, y'all. Let's see what they're doing. But that man there, George H. Deike, Deike, that already, they made that auditorium. Ain't no telling what else is in his name, right? But yeah, he was a great miner. And he made safety for the miners. He made it safe for them to mine, okay? Yeah, I just realized my PC didn't have a back camera, y'all. So I'll be sending it back, no doubt. No doubt. I need all my amenities when I'm doing stuff. And I show them we want to be in the camera, y'all. Yeah. But y'all know I'm going to have to be putting my head in the camera every once in a while to get this situated. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay. Where's my volume so I can make sure you can hear it? Y'all, these are Masons. Let's be clear. The name of this video, y'all, is the October 2024 symposium of the Academy of Masonic Knowledge. Okay? So we're here to get some Masonic knowledge today, right? Because we've been told that Masonic, we've heard that all our life. Then we find out that the Moors, the Masonic, all of that is one and the same pretty much. So let's find out who these people are and what part they play in our demise. See, because right now, it's not even like it's ours. It's like we just here and we had nothing to do with nothing that happened here. But who? When I say who is that? It's 9 people in my chat. Y'all know I just went crazy. I saw 9 people in my chat already. That's amazing. Thank y'all for coming in the chat. I'm finna get my phone so I can see you all up in here. And I can shout y'all out. But let's go, y'all. We're going to find out what really happened in Oklahoma and in all these places where all these Masonic people end up coming to. Was it the whole boatload of Masons that came here when they was bringing them here? Y'all remember the Ellis Island, the Angel Island, all those Masons? Was all of those Caucasians that came on that boat Masons? They had been taught over there the things that they needed to do to come over here and do what they did. What do you say? What say you? They still setting up in here. Let's see. They still coming in, y'all. Let me see. Because it's a 4-hour video. Let's be clear. Let's get that. Let me get ready to start. Y'all see that? Academy of Masonic Knowledge. Why we didn't learn this in school? Can y'all see that? Oh my goodness, I'm all up in the camera. Let me put it a little closer because I want y'all to see it. If you can't see it, y'all,
ladies and
please look at your own PC.
Welcome to the Academy of Masonic
Listen, though, take notes.
Thank you.
Please take notes.
At this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please rise for our prayer.
Oh, y'all know we ain't finna do that, right? Y'all want to hear it, though? Wait a minute, hold it.
So,
let me make sure. Wait. Let me make sure. Do anybody want to hear them do their prayer? Because I will put it up here and let it go. Let me know if y'all want to hear that prayer. Where my phone at? Let me find out if anybody want to hear that prayer. Okay. Y'all say y'all want to hear that prayer, we'll hear it. But other than that, we're going to bypass that prayer because I don't want that curse. Let me see what y'all said. Where y'all at? I don't see no comments. I don't see no comments, y'all. Okay, maybe I ain't on the right page. Let's see. Okay, I wasn't. I wasn't. It's not your fault. Salute Knots. How you doing, Kenneth Powell? What's up, y'all? Y'all don't want to hear that prayer either. I know that's right. Hell no. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody said I do. Somebody said I do at first, but I think you changed your mind, right, sis? Okay, let's go, y'all. Let's see. We ain't gonna hear that prayer. We're gonna skip that prayer. Let's see. Is he through yet? Yeah, he through. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear
Ladies
it.
and brethren, again, welcome. It gives us
Can
great
y'all hear it
pleasure
good? Do I need
to
to
be
turn it
able
up?
to come back here and to be together
Do I need
in
to
this
turn it up?
great event that we look forward to twice every year.
Y'all hear that damn accent in here?
Your committee on Masonic Knowledge, the
Shout
Academy
out
of
to the
Masonic
11
Knowledge,
that's
has
in
been
this
very
chat, y'all.
active
Y'all make it
over
happen.
the past year. We have several milestones coming our way. Namely, the first one is going to be our 25th anniversary next year. Back in March
I want to make
2000,
it bigger.
this academy
But it
was
ain't gonna get
constituted
bigger, y'all.
along with the Lodge of Research, the Pennsylvania Lodge of Research. And we are trying
It's
to plan
good.
for an event
Okay.
that really gives
Y'all get your
the
pen and
25
paper because
years,
we're
the
going to have
past
to figure
25
this
years,
out
and
to
all
what
the
we need to
brothers
do
that
for
have
ourselves, okay?
really persevered through
Let's
this
be
program
clear.
and gave a lot to this program to give it the honor that it deserves. So there will be a special program in March next year. Stay tuned to that. We're really looking forward to that. At this time, I would like to introduce the committee members. Our officers of the committee are Brother Lynn Bud Baker, our Right Worshipful Junior Grand
I'll
Warden.
write your name down so I can do it, Genia.
I am Yasser Al-Khatib. I'm District Deputy
I
Grand
need
Master
some
of
help in the
6th
chat. Write
Masonic
down
District
some names so I
in
can do some
Pennsylvania and
genealogy
co-chairman
on these
of the
clowns.
Academy of Masonic Knowledge, with my fellow brother Seth C. Anthony, who is also the co-chair of this academy. Not present, thank you. Not present with us are the past chairman, Brother George Haynes and Brother Ted Schick, who are emeritus chairman of this academy and are not present here today with us.
Don't
Also,
forget
I'd
to
like
like and
introduce
share, y'all.
Brother Peter
Please help me
M.
out.
Kraus,
I'm trying to get
past
my
District Deputy
algorithm
Grand
up.
Master and Secretary
I got
of the Academy of
450
Masonic
people,
Knowledge.
but they don't know I'm on live.
At this time, I'm going to call on the members of the committee, and I will ask you to hold applause until they're all introduced. And I will ask the members to please advance in front so everyone can see you. Brother Erastus Z. Allen, Lodge number 731, Chairman of the Subcommittee on Communications. Brother William L. Britton, Lodge number 315. Brother Michael.
Remember
C.
now, you
Sachs,
don't see
Lodge
nobody
number
look like us part of this here.
815,
But we
Chairman
got a
of
lot
the
of Moors
Subcommittee on
telling us they
Masonic
them.
Knowledge, Masonic Scholars. Brother Scott Mueller, past District Deputy Grand Master. Brother Austin R. Sherfin. Brother Nicholas M. Vitis. And Brother Vincent Cristiani.
So this is how we got to be brothers and sisters, right? Some Masonic order.
With us, Brother Eric Rockstad was not able to be with us this morning due to a personal emergency. Please give them a round of applause.
Thank y'all for liking.
At this time, ladies and brethren, I would like to introduce to you Brother Larry A. Dare, our Right Worshipful Grand Master.
Worshipful. And he gets to go on stage. Hope y'all paying attention.
Good morning. What a nice looking
Good
group out there this
morning.
Are you ready to
All them
ignite
curses. Y'all
tonight and
better
listen
pay
to these
attention.
great speakers they've had lined up?
Yes.
And I know I am. And you know, if you've never been to the Academy before, you're in for quite a treat. If you've been here before, you know that it's always good, and we always have a bit of new information for everybody to share. So welcome here. I bring you greetings from the Grand Lodge. I just want to give you an update. In January, I believe the 25th, the Grand Lodge of Pennsylvania down at the Grand Lodge Temple will be hosting what we call Unity Day.
Woo!
We have several jurisdictions coming in there to perform their work as they do in their jurisdiction. And we're looking for a great, great time. I think there's a few tickets left. If you need them, don't wait till the last minute because we can only accommodate so many people. So I know Yasser's in charge of that for me, and there's several other committee members, and I want to thank them for doing that. And we are looking for a great time down in Philadelphia. So I want to thank Brother Yasser and Brother Seth for co-chairing this Academy of Masonic Knowledge. They've done such a great job, and so appreciative of it. I was the liaison chairman for a while, but they told me I can't do that when I'm Grand Master, so there you have it. But anyway, I'm looking forward to this morning. Thank you, Brother Yasser.
Ladies and brethren, I would also like to recognize and welcome Brother P.J. Root, our Right Worshipful Grand Senior Warden. As you all know, the Academy has two main offerings that we give year on year. The first is what you're here to witness today, the symposium with the speakers that we've had continuously twice every year. And we have the Academy program where the brethren, the Pennsylvania brethren, basically undertake this journey of learning and going through the 3 different levels of this program and gaining more education and really progressing through these 3 levels. So at this time, it is our pleasure and honor to recognize those brethren who have completed some of these milestones and such. Right Worshipful Grand Master, I'm going to ask you to come back to the stage, if you may, please, for the presentations. And as I call on your name, please advance forward and come up to the stage from that side, please. Brother Bao Feng Quan Trung. Brother William P. Hudson.
Peace, Shaq. How you doing, big brother? I hope somebody feel the urge and the need to join me in this bill because I know it might seem a little y'all might not be interested in it right now, but I'm telling you, it's worth listening to. It's worth gaining your wisdom and your knowledge based on the fact that we don't know what the hell happened here. We need to plow through everything if we give a darn. You know what I'm saying, y'all in the chat? Y'all with me? Y'all with me on this? I mean, because what I witnessed last night in Smoke Signals channel, when I asked them to play that video of what I was mad about yesterday, wasn't nobody mad but me. It made me feel like, well, damn, am I in the wrong world? Is this really where I'm supposed to be? Because everybody over there went to joning, saying, oh, what y'all want? An apology? Hell no, we don't want no apology. We want everything. What are you talking about? An apology? American is my honor, my sister. Thank you for coming over. I really appreciate that. Listen, we want it all back. What's wrong with these niggas? What's wrong with a nigga that want to argue and bicker with a known immigrant? I mean, for real, you already know these niggas ain't you, but you want to argue with them about you being you. Listen, this video right here is about the Masonic knowledge. It's about giving us the knowledge that we wasn't given. Hell, I didn't know I was an Indian. I had to fight for this. And now I know ain't nobody else gonna get no damn rewards, no apologies, no nothing, that I'm not getting what belongs to me. Now, if y'all want to sit here and keep letting that happen, then that's what y'all do. But I'm here on war time, damn it. I'm here to find out really what happened. So y'all with me or you're not? Let's go. And I'm going to speed it up. You know I'm going to speed it up, but I don't want to miss nothing in the middle of what these crackers did to us.
Brother Jason A. Martin.
Shout out to the 15 that have popped up in here. I ain't never had
Brother
15.
Brandon M.
Y'all,
Harris.
oh, let me stop this. All y'all who ain't never been in my chat before, because I ain't never had 15. Y'all give y'all own self a hand of applause for even just coming to say hello to Mama Chief. Because I've been around here a long time and I don't get the respect, all the love. But I love you for coming today. Thank you so much.
Brother Brennan T. Stifler.
All these brothers.
And member of the committee, Brother Nicholas Matisse. And finally, Brother Evan T. Martin.
So we'll do one picture of my master, all of them, and then I'll go ahead.
I hope somebody in here from Facebook, because I went and shared it. They don't like me on Facebook either, because I ain't no Christian. I'm sorry.
It's the last name, Hudson, and that's James Martin. And
So
Brandon
Hudson
is
is the first one.
George
Glatz, Jason A. Martin.
Glatz is in here, so Hudson, Jason Martin. That's where's Brennan Stifler.
Nicholas and T. Martin.
Is he up? He got hair almost like me. Y'all see him?
Thank you.
He the first one I seen. This is where they tell all their secrets at, y'all. Meetings like this. I wonder who he is right there, y'all. He got a little hue on him. See, Roberts, what's up, love? Oh, the way they standing, okay. See, Robert say, notice the poses. Thank y'all for chiming in and giving me your perspective, because I need that, y'all. We need this. Look at that. He's beautiful.
Yes, please. Would all the Masonic scholars at this time please rise? Nice, very well. Thank you. Thank you, Rutgers. Ladies and brethren, also the Academy members will have a scholars subcommittee table outside. If anybody is interested in more information about this Academy and its offerings, please make sure when you get time in between the speakers, and right after lunch, probably they'll be stationed outside for that purpose. So please take advantage of that. Finally, I would like to welcome the district deputy grandmasters and past district deputy grandmasters are in the room. If they may rise at this time and be recognized, please.
Y'all, we want to know what them grandmasters' duties
Thank you.
are, right? We want to know what their duties are, because they came with a plan.
Brother co-chairman, it's your turn.
Isness, I hope you're still in here, because I want to speak to you for a second. And C. Roberts, I think you were there too. I know several of y'all was there. But y'all remember when we did the movie night on Killers of the Flower Moon? Y'all remember that, right? Anybody in the chat? Do y'all remember when? Absolutely. So y'all do remember that movie night when the killer? Okay, see, thank you. Okay, these men in here talks about that. That's what made me, after I didn't watch it the whole thing, I caught it at the end. And they said so many jewels. I said, no, we're going to listen to this whole thing. Okay, y'all? Appreciate y'all coming in.
Before we dig into speakers this morning, one more bit of recognition. There's an unsung crew at the back of the room of Masonic Village's residents and employees who help live stream this out for the folks who cannot physically be with us today. Jan Harms and Roy, the event staff, we very much appreciate them, if you would recognize them. And the real star of the show is the guy that he's quiet. He sits back there. Brother Charlie, who runs the camera, has been doing so for many years for us now. And I understand this might be his last event at the helm of the camera. So let's give it up for him, and make sure you stop back and see him on your way out. With that, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Worshipful Brother Michael S. Newberger. Brother Newberger is the District Deputy Grand Master of the 10th Masonic District of the Grand Lodge of New Jersey. And he's a member of Atlas Pythagoras Lodge number 10, and has served as Worshipful Master of Loyalty Lodge number 33 and Inspiratus Lodge number 357. He's a past presiding officer of both the Royal Arch and the Cryptic Council, involved in the Allied Masonic degrees, both as local council and as Grand Superintendent, and is currently serving as the Grand Council of New Jersey as the most puissant Grand Principal Conductor of Work. He's a 33rd degree member of the Valley of Northern New Jersey, as well as a past Grand Historian of the Grand Lodge. His presentation today is entitled Speaking on Faith or Reason, Maimonides and Spinoza. Brother Newberger, the stage is yours.
So that would be all that imagery. First, just to test the microphone. Is that working okay? Sorry about that. Is that all right for you in the back? Why am I getting that? Are we good to go? Okay. Sorry about that. Well, good morning. With the permission of the Right Worshipful Grand Master, the Right Worshipful Senior Grand Warden, and the members of the Academy, it is an absolute pleasure to be here this morning at this absolutely magnificent campus. I thank you for the warm hospitality that I've received since being here, and it's truly a joy to be with you. The title of my paper is Faith versus Reason. And how do we think about faith, and how do we think about reason? We were just talking over dinner last night, is Freemasonry a religion? And if it is a religion, how do you balance practicing and worshiping God in your lodges when we know we have members of many different faiths in our lodges? And yet at the same time, we're sometimes accused of not being a religion, but denying God's existence, almost as if we are enlightenment run amok. conspiracy theorists telling us that we started the French Revolution as a way of attacking God and the church. So how do we balance faith and reason? Can you be a man of God and yet believe in evolution and science? My faith, we just celebrated the creation of the new year, 5,785 years. Really? The world is 5,785 years? How is that possible? We can date rocks being billions and billions of years old. Can you be a man of enlightenment and still believe in God? Can Albert Einstein believe in God? How do you balance faith and reason? And what I'd like to do today is discuss two men, Maimonides and Spinoza. And it is my theory that both of these men, when I tell you a little bit about their life story, they faced religious persecution in their lives. And because of this, they denied or rejected blind faith and approached God through reason alone. And I'll start with Maimonides. Maimonides' name was Rabbi Moses ben Naaman. Ben means son in Hebrew. So Rabbi Moses ben Naaman, when he would write his initials, it would be RMBM, so sometimes he's referred to as Rambam, which then over time became Latinized to Maimonides. He's born in Cordova, Spain in the year 1135, and his family faces religious persecutions in Spain. A radical Islamic group known as the Almohads had come to power in Cordova, Spain in the year 1148, and they were told you have to convert to Islam or you need to leave. Well, a family being devout practices of the Jewish faith, they chose exile over conversion. First they fled to Morocco, then they fled to Jerusalem, and you would think in Jerusalem they'd be able to find peace and quiet. But this is at a time when the Crusades are going on, and even in Jerusalem, it's not safe for Maimonides and his family. And instead, they pick themselves up, and of all places, where do they settle where they can practice their faith in peace and harmony? But Egypt. And Maimonides becomes a physician and serves in the house of Saladin. He was Saladin's nephew's chief doctor. And while living in Egypt, he writes many, many books. One of his most famous ones is called Guide for the Perplexed. This is a book very deep in philosophy and in religion. And he writes many other books. And one of the more famous ones is called Mishnah Torah, which basically Maimonides looked at the 70 volumes of Talmud and said, there's no way anyone with a real job is going to be able to get through 70 volumes of Talmud and understand the law. So he shrunk it down and codified the law into 6 volumes, easily.
So he's the one that did the Mishnah Torah, the so-called Jewish Bible, right? I guess. Is that right, y'all?
Digestible, so that anybody could pick up if they had a question to do their own research. And to give you a sense of what high regard we have for Maimonides, on his epitaph, on his gravestone, it reads,
y'all know that's a word, Maimonides.
Until Moses.
Y'all remember that word, Maimonides?
Like Moses. So
y'all paying attention.
in Jewish faith, we believe that the Bible is true, everything in it is accurate. And there's a verse that says there's been no.
So he did say he was a Jew, too. Did y'all hear that? In Jewish faith, we believe.
1,000 years ago, or today, or if I can read that verse 1,000 years into the future, I can still read, there's been no greater prophet than Moses to this day. And yet, the belief is that, or the idea is that Moses gave us the Bible, but it's Maimonides that allows us to understand the Bible. And therefore his tombstone reads, from Moses until Moses, there has been none like Moses.
Remember
So
that man was named Moses.
As I said, because of sort of the fanaticism and religious bigotry that he faced in life, he had no patience for religious dogma. He had no, he could not take people who were extreme in their religious practices, and he felt that if you want to understand God, if you want to practice the faith, You have to do it, but you have to do it through reason and logic. And he starts off and he says, the Bible must be true, it was written by God. But then he says, well, wait a minute. Science is true, right? We do observations. Science is reality. And two truths cannot conflict. Therefore, you have to read the Bible, study the Bible, and understand the Bible with science, reason, and logic. Therefore, he says, if you have a particular biblical interpretation that runs afoul of science, it's not the Bible that's wrong. What's wrong is your interpretation of that verse. He goes so far as to say, if we had an accepted interpretation, and it doesn't matter how many generations of rabbis signed off on that interpretation, if new science develops that suggests that interpretation is no longer true, you have to reject that interpretation and start anew with a new interpretation, because the Bible and science cannot conflict. Maimonides was writing in around 1100s. 500 years later, the church is trying Galileo for suggesting that the sun is in the center of the universe. 500 years before that trial, Maimonides is already telling you science and the Bible cannot conflict. And that when you read and understand the Bible, you have to do it through a lens of science. You need to use science, reason, and logic to understand the Bible. Science doesn't trump the Bible. Science trumps your interpretation of the Bible. So reinterpret it. Well, needless to say, at the time of his writings, many rabbis thought that this was a challenge to their authority. And believe it or not, there was actually calls for burnings of his books when he was publishing. Now, Maimonides understands that reason and logic can only take us so far. He realizes that there are certain concepts that are going to be so complicated for the average person to understand that at some point you're going to have to rely on blind faith. And the classic example that he gives is creation. How do we understand creation? So there's this idea that God is a constant. God never changes. So how do we understand the idea that God wakes up one morning and decides, you know, there's nothing on TV today, I think I'm going to create the world. There's a change in God's thinking when he does that, and there cannot be a change in God's thinking.
I don't know what that sounds.
Aristotle resolves this problem by saying that the world is part of God and that the world always existed. Plato argues that there was some pre-existing matter and that God forms the world out of a void using this pre-existing matter, although of course that doesn't explain where does the pre-existing matter come from. Everything needs to be created. Darkness is not the absence of light. Even darkness needs to be created. You can't say nothing exists.
Absolutely, C. Roberts.
Needs to be created. So how do you understand this? Give you one better. Time needs to be created. So there's no such thing as before creation because before doesn't exist. At this point, Maimonides is getting a headache.
Did you hear him say? What did y'all just hear him say? Somebody better put in the chat what y'all just heard him say, or I'm going to say y'all ain't listening. Come on, C. Roberts. I know you heard what that man just said. It's 12 of y'all in this chat. Shout out to y'all. C. Roberts, American Hitness, Shaq, Sharon, Kenneth Powell, Anat. Who else up in here? That's it, y'all. That ain't no 13 people, but nevertheless, what did y'all hear that man just say the last thing he just said? Somebody better tell me something. Because I'm thinking y'all ain't doing nothing, y'all just laying on the internet. No, he said time has to be created. Did y'all hear that shit? Time had to be created. Therefore, the matrix that we're living in had to be created with 24 hours time, 7 days a week. He said, time had to be created. Y'all want to hear it again? Did y'all miss it? Did y'all really miss what that man just said? I'm going to run it back. I ain't got nothing but time today.
A change in God's thinking when he does that. And there cannot be a change in God's thinking. Aristotle resolved this problem by saying that the world is part of God and that the world always existed. Plato argues that there was some pre-existing matter and that God forms the world out of a void using this pre-existing matter, although of course that doesn't explain where does the pre-existing matter come from. Everything needs to be created. Darkness is not the absence of light. Even darkness needs to be created. You can't say nothing existed, even nothing needs to be created.
That's right. You heard it.
So how do you
Hey,
understand
Infinite
this?
Water Goddess. How you doing,
Maybe
love?
I'm better.
Thank you for coming in.
Time needs to be created. So there's no such thing as before creation because before doesn't exist.
Mhm.
At this point, Maimonides is getting a headache. The Bible says God created the world in 7 days. There's a point where my reasoning, my logic, my observations are only going to take me so far. And when I reach that point, that's when I'm going to fall back on blind faith. As I said, Maimonides had a very unique interpretation of the Bible. Many rabbis have called for the burning of his books. Many rabbis rejected the idea that you would quote a pagan Greek philosopher like Aristotle in your works. And he faces religious persecution, not only from Islam that forced him to leave his mother country, but he even faces it from his own rabbinical colleagues. We'll put Maimonides off to the side for now. I want to talk a little bit about Spinoza. Spinoza was born in Amsterdam in 1632. His family was originally from Portugal, and very similar, unfortunate idea in Jewish history. The Catholic king of Portugal says to the Jews, you either convert to Catholicism or out you go. The family picks themselves up, they flee to Amsterdam, and in the Netherlands, we have a place of enlightenment, and here the Jews are able to practice their faith.
The Jews, remember y'all, who the Masons are, he's telling us.
So Spinoza is raised in Amsterdam, and very similar to Maimonides, Spinoza doesn't face religious persecution or challenges from the Catholic Church. He doesn't face religious persecution from the Protestant Church. His greatest adversary were the Jews of Amsterdam. And before I tell you what grave sin Spinoza committed, let me first share with you the reaction to Spinoza's philosophy from the Jewish community in Amsterdam. So we have a concept called chayrim, which means excommunication. Excommunication was a very serious punishment. Mind you, this is a faith that has capital punishment on its books. Excommunication was severe. You could not invite Spinoza to your house. You could not go to his house. Spinoza cannot enter the synagogue. Spinoza cannot be buried in a Jewish cemetery. If you see Spinoza walking down the street, you have to cross the street and go the other way. God forbid you should be seen socializing with him. The idea of excommunication in the Jewish faith was such a severe punishment of isolation that the Talmud tells stories that when the rabbis would issue excommunication edicts, it would last a day, a week. A month was unheard of. Spinoza is excommunicated his entire life. But I haven't done it justice. Let me read you a portion of the excommunication edict. Quote, cursed he be by day, cursed he be by night. Cursed he be when he lies down, cursed he be when he rises up, cursed he be when he goes out, cursed he be when he comes in. Well,
That Deuteronomy 28, ain't it, y'all? Ain't that Deuteronomy 28? Something where the curses were put upon the so-called Israelites.
Lord will not spare him. Let the anger of the Lord and his jealousy smoke against this man. May all the curses written in this book lie upon him. The Lord shall blot out his name from under heaven. They have him cursed coming and going. This phrase, may his name be blotted out from heaven. In my grandmother's house, if you said Hitler's name, she would spit on the floor and say, may his name be blotted out from under heaven. In the Jewish faith, there's a holiday called Purim, where we read the story of Queen Esther and Mordecai and the evil adversary Haman, where they wanted to destroy the Jews in Persia, and Esther and Mordecai hatch a plot to undo Haman's threat against the Jewish people. And we read this story in synagogue, and it's a very fun story. It's a family-oriented story. All the kids come out to synagogue, and the custom is every time Haman's name is read, they make noise, they bang on the table, they set off little firecrackers so that nobody hears Haman's name, because his name should be blotted out from under heaven. We reserve this phrase, may his name be blotted out from heaven, for the most vile, vicious villains in Jewish history. And yet, Spinoza's excommunication edict reads, may his name be blotted out from heaven. What could Spinoza have said to so anger the Jewish community? Spinoza says, the Bible is a children's storybook.
I've heard that before.
It's fantasy. You have to understand,
I've heard that
the
before.
12 tribes lead Egypt from 400 years of slavery and bondage. They don't know anything. So they need a Bible to unite them. They need myth. They need stories in order to create a unified nation. And before you think that that's a crazy idea, does anyone in this room really think George Washington chopped down a cherry tree?
Hell
And when his
no.
father came home and said, what happened? He said, oh, Dad, I can't tell a lie.
No.
It was me.
No.
Of course not. He probably went running and hid. Entire nations are built on myth.
That's right.
If you read the Bible,
Y'all paying attention?
the entire Abrahamic legend, the Master Mason degree, and for the Masons, I know we have some non-Masons in the room, you know the story's not true. Our ritual is myth. Mythology is good for societies. It's good for groups. It's not true. It's myth. Spinoza says now that we're living in the 1600s, now that we are mature men of intellect, we don't need children's stories anymore. We don't need
Ostracize
myths.
him.
Yeah, we can tell them to our children when we sit at the Passover Seder, but it's myth. You want to know God? You know God through reason and intellect only. And anything that you cannot grasp with your intellect, Spinoza rejects. He has no room in his philosophy for blind faith. Let me read to you a little bit of Spinoza's writings. Spinoza says, quote, the most tyrannical governments are those which make crimes of opinions, for everyone has an inalienable right over his thoughts.
Ooh.
Think about cancel.
Speak that law. See, that's law right there.
Spinoza's writing was
Unalienable rights
150
on your
years
own thought.
before 56 men went to Philadelphia to write the Constitution. The most
See?
tyrannical
I'm telling you,
governments
see.
are those which make crimes of opinions, for everyone has an inalienable right over his thoughts. The highest power of scriptural interpretation belongs to every man.
Okay.
Not the rabbi, not the pope, not the imam. The highest power of scriptural interpretation belongs to every man. For such interpretation should be nothing but the natural light of reason, which is common to all. Not any supernatural light or any external authority. but should be adopted to the natural, ordinary faculties and capacity of mankind. I will take the Bible written in the Vulgate, not in Latin. I will take the Bible off the hearth. I will read it, and I will be the spiritual advisor to my family.
Right.
To Spinoza, you don't need popes and rabbis and imams. It belongs to the natural light of reason. Come on, to Spinoza, you want to know God? Don't waste your time in a synagogue. Don't bother with a church. Go to a university and read a chemistry book. That's where you will find God. I want to tell you a story. I'm first going to annoy the cameraman by moving. Let me first say I don't think the story is true. But it's a good story. And as a speaker, I never waste a good story. So I'm going to share the story with you anyway. The story is told that the astrologers come to Nimrod and they tell them a child is going to be born that's going to challenge your authority. And Nimrod then issues an edict that all the males born that year should be put to death. Well, Abraham's mother is pregnant with him. She gives birth. She takes the child to a cave, and the angel Gabriel raises Abraham in the cave. Now, the reason why I don't think the story is true is because you see a convergence of myth going on here. On the one hand, we all saw the movie, we know the story. The astrologers tell Pharaoh that a child will be born. He issues an edict that all the Jewish male sons born should be drowned in the Nile. We know there's the story of Muhammad receiving the Quran from the angel Gabriel in the cave. There's a mix of mythology going on in this story, which is why I question whether or not the story is true. But like I said, it's a good story. I'm going to tell it anyway. So Gabriel raises Abraham in the cave, and when he becomes an adult, he leaves the cave for the first time, and he sees in the sky the moon. And he theorizes the moon must be God. He prays to the moon. He dances in front of the moon. He brings sacrifices before the moon. He found God. He falls asleep. He wakes up in the morning and he notices the moon is gone.
The moon
He sees
god,
the sun.
the Muslim, right?
Oh, silly me. What could I possibly have been thinking? The moon
Now the
can't be
sun,
God.
God.
It was weaker in its illumination. It disappeared. The sun must be God. He worships the sun. He prays to the sun. He brings sacrifices to the sun. And he notices something very strange.
Oh, come on.
As time begins to get by, the sun begins to move and it starts to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And then it dips below the horizon. It disappears. And son of a gun, the moon is back. He realizes the moon can't be God. The sun can't be God. There must be a higher power that created these two luminaries in the world. What's Abraham doing? Ask any high school student. It's scientific observation.
Right.
He starts with an hypothesis. He observes the moon. He declares it God. He sees the moon disappears, realizes his hypothesis was wrong, develops a new hypothesis, discovers the sun. He observes, he watches, he does scientific experimentation. He sees it dip below the horizon, realizes it's not God, develops a third hypothesis. He's performing scientific experimentation to find God. That's Spinoza. You want to know God? Study science. That's how you'll find God. Cameraman, I'm going back.
He followed you.
There's one more story I want to tell. Actually, not a story, but a quote from his writings.
Hey, big brother.
They once asked Albert Einstein, do you believe in God?
Great continuation.
And Einstein responded, I believe in Spinoza's God. So
Much
who
love and
was
respect back,
Spinoza's
bro.
God? So Spinoza writes as if God is speaking. This is what he says. God speaking according to Spinoza. Stop praying and giving yourself blows in the chest. What I want you to do is go out into the world and enjoy your life. I want you to enjoy
You know, you
the
heard
sin, the
that.
fun. Enjoy everything I've done for you. Stop being so scared of me. I do not judge. I do not criticize. You do not anger or bother me. I am pure love. Stop going to those gloomy, dark, cold temples that you built for yourself. You call them my home? No. My house is in the mountains, in the forests, the rivers, the lakes, the beaches. That's where I live and express my love for you. Forget about commandments, laws. Those are just wiles to manipulate you, to control you, to create guilt. I have made you absolutely free.
Wow.
There's no prizes or punishments, no sins or virtues. No one carries a marker, no one carries a record. You are absolutely free to create your own heaven or hell. Stop believing in me. Believe is to assume, guess, imagine. I don't want you to believe in me. I want you to feel me. Feel me when you kiss those you love. Feel me when you play with your children. Stop praising me. What kind of egotistical God do you think I am? If you feel grateful, prove it. Prove it by taking care of yourself, your health, your relationships. Take care of the world. Don't look for me outside. You won't find me.
Wow.
Find me inside. I'm in your beating heart. That's Spinoza's God.
Boy,
That's the God Albert Einstein said he can believe in. Forget the churches and the synagogues. You want to find me? Smell a flower.
Wow.
You want to feel me? Hug your children. That's where God is.
Wow.
One last story about Spinoza's life. 2012, 335 years after this man's death, the Jews of Amsterdam write a letter to the chief rabbi. They say, Rabbi, enough's enough. We studied this man in college. He's a renowned philosopher. Don't you think it's about time we remove the excommunication edict? The rabbi says, all right, I'll take it into consideration. He reviews the case, and he comes back, and he says, no, I will not remove the excommunication edict from Spinoza. 300 years after this man's death. The rabbi wrote, quote, the moment we rescind the edict, even if we could, it would imply that we share his heretical views.
Yep.
To him, the law of Moses was not divine and no longer relevant. To him, there was no such thing as God, but in a philosophical sense. How on earth can we even consider to remove the edict from such a person with such preposterous ideas, where he was tearing apart the very fundamentals of our religion? So raw are the wounds of Spinoza's words. 300 years later, he is still excommunicated, buried outside the Jewish cemetery. May his name be blotted out from under heaven. Brethren, it is my belief and notion that because of the persecutions that both Maimonides and Spinoza faced from the zealousness of religious dogma, that they rejected religion. They rejected dogmatic faith. They approached God through reason and logic. Their sin, they dared to think. They dared to use their minds. Now, Maimonides and Spinoza are very similar, but there are some fundamental differences between them, and I'd like now to share with you some of those differences. One is prophecy. Maimonides has a very interesting view on prophecy. He says, don't think God looks around the world, finds a shepherd, and decides that's the one I'm going to talk to. That's not what prophecy is.
Shout out to the people that just jumped in and jumped out. Let me explain something. This is not about religion. If you look at the title, It says Masonic Knowledge. This is the Academy of the Masonic Knowledge. This is where all of this bullshit comes from. Let's be clear. This is not about religion. It's not about worshiping God. And I'm not in church today. But this is about showing you how the hand was played against you. So pay attention.
Maimonides says, God speaks. Do you hear him? Maimonides says, have you developed your intellect? Have you developed your mind that you can hear God speaking? God just talks. Do you hear him? To Maimonides, Jew, Gentile, doesn't matter. Anybody has the ability to hone in their mind, to build their intellect, to build their reasoning and their logical capabilities in order to hear God speaking. The imagery that he uses, he says, quote, these are hidden truths as flashes of lightning. Mankind lives in darkness, and at times they see glimpses of light. But Moses, since he achieved such a high level of intellect, for him the flashes of lightning were constantly flashing until night became day. God speaks. Do you hear him? So Moses says you're wasting your time. God doesn't talk to people. There's no such thing as prophecy. Second example I want to talk about. Ritual. Conducting religious practices. Spinoza says, you're wasting your time. You know, again, you want to do it for the kids, to perpetuate the faith, sure, knock yourself out. But you're not achieving anything by doing religious practices. Maimonides, on the other hand, said, no, wait a minute. Bible was written by God. Bible is true. You have to approach religious practices with reason and logic. And he gives a classic example. Cameraman, I'm moving again. We all saw the movie. God says to Moses that I'm going to send the angel of death into Egypt, and he's going to wipe out the firstborn of all of Egypt. Tell the Jewish people to mark their doorposts with sheep blood, and when the angel of death comes through Egypt, he will, quote, pass over their houses, saving the Jewish first male sons, and only the first male sons of Egypt will perish. And from this comes a commandment in the Bible for Jewish people to hang on their doorposts something called a mezuzah. So a mezuzah is this casing. Some of them become very ornate. A lot of people use marble, porcelain, wood. They become very, as said, ornate and expensive. And inside is parchment. And on the parchment are written certain biblical verses, the most famous one being, "Hear, O Israel, God our God, God is one." And many people hang this up on their outside of their doors to commemorate when the angel of death passed over the houses in Egypt, and believe that like a talisman, it will protect the house from the evil eye and evil omen. Maimonides says, you are practicing witchcraft. What the hell are you doing? You really think this is going to protect your house? You want to protect your house? Get a security system. Maimonides says you need to approach ritual with understanding, with logic, with reason. You know why you hang this up on your door and on the outside of the house? Because you are telling the entire world, you are making a public testimony of your faith. I believe, hear, O Israel, God is one. God, our God, is one. You are making a public declaration in a monotheistic faith for the entire world to see. That's why you hang the mezuzah up on your doorpost. It's public testimony of your faith. It's not.
Y'all heard, that's why the word Mormonism and all that, you heard him say y'all hearing these words coming out of this Masonic man mouth dealing with the setup of the fake religion and the setup of all these religions, Jewish, Islam, and Christian. I mean, these words, synopticism, y'all. That's what the other man he's talking about. And Maimonides. These are people, but they got words that go with those words that they done gave us. Y'all,
Witchcraft? It's not a talisman. It's not going to protect your house.
I know y'all
You
don't
have
get
to
this. I hope
approach
y'all do.
ritual with logic, reason,
I
and
hope somebody
understanding.
really
You have to
gets
know
this.
why you're doing the ritual. Just performing it accomplishes nothing. Think about our own ritual. The good ritualist is not the one that can recite it word for word in lodge. The good ritualist is the one that learns the lessons and carries it with him when he leaves the lodge. That's a good ritualist. You have to understand ritual.
Now he's going in and letting us know about the rituals. And that's where the false belief in the Most High comes in the ritualistic part. Because however you say that word, he was into oneness, into that it's only, you heard him say, when you hug your children, you're looking at, when you're loving on you're looking at, so it wasn't no thing about this false belief that they got us into with the rituals and all of the things that they have people doing. Y'all agree?
Let's talk a little bit about Freemasonry.
All right, let's talk.
We know in the fellowcraft degree that there's a point in the lecture that they said in New Jersey, I don't know if you have it here in Pennsylvania.
Well, it all
in the
began
lecture it
in
says,
Philadelphia, right, y'all?
Geometry, the first and noblest of sciences, is the basis on which the superstructure of Freemasonry is erected. By geometry, we may curiously trace nature through her various windings, through her most concealed.
What the Masons say, they set everything up on what? The sacred geometry of the what? The G. That's what the G means, geometry, right?
Recesses. By it, we discover the power, the wisdom, and the goodness of the great artificer of the universe. And we tell the candidate that the G stands for geometry or deity.
Okay.
That's Spinoza.
Yeah, that's Spinoza. But see, I've heard more say that. If you see them with their ring on, and they say if you cover their hand, you would say you the G of that ring. And that means God. But it really means geometry,
If you want to know God, study nature, study geometry. You know why the G stands for geometry or deity? Because to Spinoza, they're one and the same. So are we all here as Freemasons practicing Spinoza? We enter the apprentice degree. The worshipful master tells the candidate, quote, the Holy Bible, the inestimable gift of God to man, is given to us as a rule and guide for our faith and reason. We're told about the three rungs of Jacob's ladder: faith, hope, and charity. Is this Maimonides? There's room for faith. It's not just a rejection of dogma and a pure reason and science approach, but there's faith. You still need faith in your religion. So are we all here practicing Maimonides? Who's right? Well, I got to tell you, I have a problem with Spinoza. Spinoza is filled with hubris. Spinoza says, if I don't understand it, it's false. If I don't understand it, it's Mother Goose. Only what I can absorb with my intellect, that's what God is. The moment you need Mother Goose stories, he rejects it. Even Maimonides had some hubris. His, I would argue, is even worse. Maimonides says you have to approach God with reason and logic. And if you think the mezuzah is a talisman, you're a fool practicing witchcraft.
The
But when
mezuzah.
he doesn't
Y'all know what a
understand something
mezuzah
like
is, right?
creation, oh, then blind faith is okay.
Hebrew.
Even he has
A
hubris.
mezuzah.
So who was right? Well, brethren, I think the message of Maimonides is one of balance. He's really trying to teach us that we need to balance reason and faith. We had to practice when the candidate walks walks in the lodge room, he's standing in front of the two pillars. He's actually a third pillar in the middle, representing balance. Anyone who studies Zohar and the Tree of Life, there's
Y'all
a
catching
tree of
these
mercy, a tree of
jewels he telling
serenity.
you?
There's actually an invisible tree in the middle.
Let me tell you.
An invisible.
When you go in the courtroom, he just showed you when you go in the courtroom, you're going in the court. There's a beam here, there's a beam there, and you are the middle. You is supposed to bring balance. But you don't know you're supposed to bring balance because you don't know the law. And you built up on false faith and false hope in what we've been taught. So now it's time to ball all that little shit up in a little piece of paper and throw it away and say, okay, let's find out. That's all I'm saying right here.
Little pillar that represents balance between the two. I think what Maimonides is trying to teach us is that
I'm
we
with
need to follow a
Maimonides.
middle path.
I don't like the other
We
one.
need to have the calming waters of reason and logic
Yeah.
in order to calm the fiery passions of religious zeal. That's Maimonides' message.
Religious dogma.
Let me read to you another quote. The way of the Bible is a narrow path. To the right is fire, and to the left is ice.
Now, I never heard
The
this one
follower
before,
of the
y'all.
Bible must be focused and balanced so as to avoid veering off the road in either direction. To the right is fire, the fire of religious passion that has lost control of itself. This is the fire of religious zeal that slips into extremism, fanaticism, self-righteousness. Turning to the right entails a surrender of a person's power of reason in favor of a transcendent mystical relationship with God. Yet with the suspension of reason actually comes the possibility of chasing false gods and superstitious beliefs. To the left is ice, the ice of skepticism, rationalism run amok. The warmth of the Bible is lost, its inner beauty and power negated. Moving to the left entails a surrender of a person's spiritual sense in favor of a cold, philosophical view of life. With the increase in ice comes the possibility of living without ever confronting or experiencing God. This is Maimonides' message. Too far to the left, too much ice, too much reason, too much rationalism. You will miss God entirely. Ignore reason, ignore science, and go all the way to the right.
You won't steal me.
You run the risk of the fiery passions and zealousness. You need a middle path. We use the tepid waters of reason and logic to calm those fiery passions of religious zeal. Brethren, Maimonides is writing 1,000 years ago. We still have not learned this message. We have chased God out of the public square in this country. Can't say a religious prayer at a high school football game. People want to remove the Ten Commandments from courthouses. We have erased God from our culture, and we are the worst for it. There is no United States without God. Just read the Declaration of Independence. The entire Middle East is a tinderbox in flames because of religious zealousness, flaming passions. 1,000 years since Maimonides wrote, and we still have not learned how to use reason and logic to practice our faith and belief in God. Now, brethren, this concludes my lecture. But as Masons, you all know there's no such thing as a lecture without a charge. So I now have to charge you. Was Spinoza a Freemason? I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't find any written records that he was a Mason. We know that Masonry, certainly in Scotland, there's minutes that date back to 1590. He lived, I think he died in like the 1630s.
It started in
Was he
1590.
a Mason? I don't know. Was Maimonides a Freemason? No. That I can tell you he was not. The man died in 1200. And yet, if Maimonides or Spinoza were sitting in a lodge watching the fellowcraft degree.
Huh.
And in New Jersey, we have the winding staircase where the candidate is led first to the 3 steps, EA, FC, Master Mason. Then he's led to the 5 steps that represent not only the 5 steps of architecture, but we tell him it represents the 5 human senses. And then we lead into the 7 steps of the 7 liberal arts and sciences: astronomy, reason, logic, rhetoric, grammar, astronomy, music, arithmetic.
School.
And then when he reaches the 7th step, he stands before the middle chamber and we tell him the G represents God. Spinoza, my memories be right at home. You use the 5 senses to do scientific experimentation, to study the 7 liberal arts.
Wow.
And what's the prize at the end? You stand at the middle chamber at the entrance and you see God. That's the path. They
Not
would
all
be
that
right at
other
home
bulls.
watching the fellowcraft degree in a lodge. Brethren, Freemasonry has been around for 400 years, and I pray it lasts another 400 years. But the reality is societies come and societies go. And what's important is not Masonry. What is important is this lesson, this foundational principle of practicing faith through reason and logic, because that's what leads to religious toleration. That's what leads to democracy. That is what leads to the brotherhood of all men. You have to make sure whether Freemasonry lasts or not, that these ideals, these glorious principles last from generation to generation. Thank you, Reverend.
See there, y'all? They were. They got that generation to generation, right? What we got? What we got, y'all? They got generations. What we got? This is the second speaker.
All right, brethren, my watch says it's just about 10:30. So we're going to take a short intermission here. We will be back.
I want that second one. Come up. Where you at?
Against the federal government, so he
Hold up. They got the map up here. Come on, y'all. I hope y'all with me. This is a good one, y'all. I'm telling you. Look, Creek Agency. Y'all, come on, y'all. I hope y'all with me. I'm telling you. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold
the
on.
first full-scale immigration of the...
No. We got maps. No. We're going to get you from the beginning, dude.
A lovely building. I'm a big fan of Masonic architecture, so...
Okay, we want to hear you because you got some demonstration going on. I love when you hear.
Couple of notes, gentlemen, just as we gather here. If this is your first time visiting, or maybe second or third time visiting.
No, we don't do all that either. Come on. Sorry about that, y'all.
Yes, comes to us today. Brother Akers is a citizen of the Muskogee Creek Nation. He's a past master of Guildhall Lodge number 553 AF and AM under the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma. He's currently serving as the Grand Captain General of the Grand Commandery of Knights Templar of Oklahoma for the second time. Akers is a member of the board of directors of the Oklahoma State Historical Society, and he resides in Oklahoma City, where he enjoys wearing loud socks. He is the curator of collections
Wait a minute, y'all. I gotta read
for the Valley of McAllister, ancient accepted Scottish Rite of the Southern Jurisdiction. I now invite Brother Akers to the stage to give his presentation entitled, "Are you doing fine, Oklahoma? Oil, Indians, and..."
Are you doing fine, Oklahoma?
Freemason.
Wait a minute. I got to read this, y'all. Excuse me for being in the camera. Y'all know I don't like that. Yeah. Cut him off for a minute.
It's in the Sooner State.
Amen. Okay, now I want to see this. Oh, wait a minute. Are you doing fine, Oklahoma? All Indians and Freemasonry in the Sooner State, in the secret state, y'all. They say all Indians and Freemasons in that state. Come on, y'all. What in the world? I had to read that. I'm sorry.
Visit that. So, the title of my presentation is "Are You Doing Fine, Oklahoma? Oil, Indians, and Freemasons in the Sooner State."
Oh, Sooner
and,
State.
I was asked out
That's
here,
it,
obviously,
okay.
to talk on Killers of the Flower Moon, the book,
See?
as well as the film. When I first saw the film, I went to a special screening in Oklahoma City, and I had the following to say about the film after I saw it. I said, Killers of the Flower Moon is an American epic for the 21st century. Audiences are immediately transported to 1920s Oklahoma, where the wealth brought forth by the oil fields of the old Indian Territory freely flowed. At the same time, audiences are placed in the uncomfortable center of the greed and racism that has long existed in this nation, which came to a violent head in the state of Oklahoma. Oil brought about the deaths of numerous Osages, but the Muskogees, who had allotments in the fields around Tulsa, were also victims of the
Now,
Guardian
he's an
scheme
Indian
that
now. Don't
existed.
forget that. He's an Indian.
Now,
You're
Oklahoma
not.
became a state in
Damn it.
November of 1907. And,
I mean, don't nobody get pissed off with this but me. He's an Indian. He is a Muskogee Indian, y'all. That means that y'all wasn't over there in the Carolinas and the Virginias and shit. He was. His 17th great-grandpappy was there over there. Was y'all over there or was it him? Don't this just burn your blood, y'all? That man ain't got a drop of our blood in him? That Caucasian right there don't have a drop of our blood in him. But we're a nigger and he's an Indian. I mean, y'all make that make sense to me. Make it make sense. And he got all this information talking about all, we know that's what the Oil Ridge was. All Indians and Freemasonry. So they set up down in the camp. They all over us, y'all. What?
The Oklahoma historian Angie DeBow, writing in 1949, said the systematic plundering of 5 tribes' allottees dominated the first 20 years of Oklahoma statehood. She added, historians have been inclined to be evasive.
Yeah, I need y'all to look at that map on your own page. Y'all go to your, at some point I need y'all to see this map. This map says map of the Indian and Oklahoma territory. So in all actuality, that's the only place that the Indians supposed to ever been is down through there.
In the field of Indian exploitation, but nobody who ignores it can understand Oklahoma. And to begin to understand Oklahoma, we really have to go back to the early 19th century. And this map, the green star here, sort of represents where Oklahoma is today, but it also shows all of the Indian ranges of the United States. And you can see Oklahoma there is sort of situated.
You see Georgia over there.
Kiowa, Osage, Wichita, and Caddo territorial ranges. In 1812, a group of Cherokees voluntarily left their territory and migrated to what is present-day Arkansas, and they became known as the Old Settler Cherokees. These Cherokees would occasionally cross over into Osage hunting territory, and this led to an ongoing feud between those two tribes. So in 1824, Colonel Matthew Arbuckle, who had just received his colonelcy and assumed command of the 7th U.S. Infantry Regiment, moved his regiment west from Fort Smith, Arkansas, to establish Fort Gibson that April at the confluence of the Grand and Arkansas rivers. His objective was to keep the peace between the Osage and the Cherokees. And then a month later in May, he dispatched one company of the regiment south to establish Fort Townsend at the confluence of the Kiamichi and Red Rivers, which is then an international border with Mexico. Matthew Arbuckle is sort of the first Freemason that arrives in what became the Indian.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had to just stop there and hold my damn head for a minute. Because this is, do y'all see all these forts and shit? These Masons and these people was coming in here, building up around us to go and take and move us and take stuff from us. Do y'all really see this? Can y'all see that fort? Y'all, oh, I wish y'all could see what I'm looking at. I hope y'all can. I hope y'all got y'all screen big. I hope it's visible. because it's unbelievable. It really is, Sharon. Unbelievable.
In territory, but he didn't bring about the Masonic activity that would follow. The first full-scale immigration of the 5 tribes occurred in 1827 when a group of roughly 700 Creeks, and that's Muskogees, and I'll use those two titles sort of interchangeably. Muskogee is the given name of the tribe because of where the Muskogee Nation was situated in the southeastern part of the country. It was the territory was crisscrossed with creeks. So the British referred to that tribe as the Creeks. But in 1827, it was 700.
Great continuation, Tom. I mean, I'm telling y'all, I mean, it'd be a fight if I was to be in presence of some of these people playing like they mean. We'd probably be fighting. Yeah, they working hard. They got the Masonics in all these crackers who was in here in this war. I would almost believe they was Masonics. Because right now I'm sitting here thinking about the time frame what they just not giving. Like he giving me this 1820 something, 1800. We know that these crackers came over here on them boats, and was those Masons? Because the Moors claimed that they brought them here because they couldn't get rid of us. So they brought them here to create this white supremacist, the myth of white supremacists, and the court system and all this. This is what the Moors claim. That they brought these crackers here. So these crackers come in here with their Masonicness. But is it the same thing that the Moors teach? That's what I'm concerned with now. Is they got the same? Is these pale skin got the same Masonic force? Because he did speak about Judaism and the Bible. He never spoke about Muslim. Did y'all hear that? I never heard him say anything about some Muslims. He was only talking about the Jews, and that this was pretty much their Masonicness is Judaism. But these Moors tell us that theirs is Muslim. Y'all see the deception?
Of Creeks was led west by Chili McIntosh, and they established their new home in the Three Forks area near Fort Gibson, and that's the Three Forks of the Grand, Arkansas, and Verdigris Rivers. The old settler Cherokees of Arkansas were removed the following year, and the Indian Removal Act of 1830 would see around 66,000 members of the 5 tribes either immigrate or be forcibly removed to the Indian Territory. Of those, at least 15,000, probably more, died, and all told, over 100,000 Indians were removed to what became the Indian Territory.
Now let's clear this up. In the territory of Virginia, South Carolina, these are the areas where Indians was. Now, where did they remove those pale skin and those Asiatic? Where did they get them from to put them in Oklahoma? Where did they come from? This is my question. Where did the Caucasians, great continuation to you, none? How you doing, baby? I need some help up in here. Hey, Christopher Creel, how y'all doing? Great continuation. I need to understand what Indians was removed in 1828 that almost all of them died, but yet all of us still over there in the same place that we was never removed from. We was just reclassified and name changed. So what is going on here? What you say, Christopher? Peace and salute, Mama Chi. I am working on the conceptual framework on how the proposed matriarchal council can engage and make declarations for our ancestral land and resources. Well, that's wonderful, Christopher. You let me know with anything I can help you do, okay? Thank you so much for letting me know and including me in your thoughts. Absolutely. We know this is what I'm saying. Nanya, we got to find out. We got to get the dates. We got to get the dates on them ports, Nanya, because we got to put this together. That's why I'm showing this, because these Masons are the ones that did these ports. These Masons are the ones that brought all this stuff in here to us. But it seems like we got two different kinds. We got the black Muslims, and then we got the Caucasian Jewish one. Well, I don't know. If they got a birth certificate, you best believe it's on the market right now, being being traded on the market just like ours. Okay, y'all. Y'all, we gotta find our own way, because Joe Biden over there apologizing to the damn Asians and crackers for the civil rights movement and them fighting in the wars. Now, if y'all Indians, y'all better be fighting too. Y'all better be standing up. But I'm telling you, I'm pissed. Ain't no way in the hell I'm gonna let nobody take my place. These Masonic actors are place fillers because we have not organized and made a modern lawful declaration that will rebut their current claims that they can't substantiate. We have the records. Absolutely. We have the records, and the people who have the records are sitting on their ass, ain't making no move. I don't know who they're waiting on. Jesus? I don't know what they're waiting on. But I know one thing: we cannot sit here and let nobody keep telling us who we is and who we ain't. I know that for a fact. Now, I know some people say, fuck the patents. The patents don't matter none to them. But I know what my people did. And so some people don't have patents, and they don't. I mean, some people don't have these things, so they don't want them. You know what I'm saying? They think that it don't matter. But for what you got in your records, baby, hold on to it and make it work. But that's what I'm saying. We got to be about our business, because we're not about our business every time they're in place and we're not there. Why in the hell wasn't some of us there? Why wasn't we there? How we gonna let Biden stand there and tell them the Civil Rights Act was for them? I got war records of my ancestors, and hell, they was in prison. Those war records say prison. Sergeants and shit in prison. While they was in prison in the war on the United States side. Yeah, they absolutely. All right, Chris, you got my number, right? Call me anytime. Let's work. Because see, I ain't about this. I ain't about sitting down on this. And see, I feel like last night, when I took that over there to smoke them, and they laughed at it, and they act like it wasn't shit, I see all them niggas, man. I ain't got time to play with that. These niggas ain't about no business. This is about my life. The hell? Y'all want some apology? Damn it, no, we don't want no apology. But we ain't got, we should be we shouldn't be accepting nobody else getting no apology, 150-year apology, and then they been claiming they been had us messed up for 400 years. You heard that man Jay Water go say Masonry is 400 years old here. So what does that mean? If they 400 years old here, and 150 of those years, they had those Asians into boarding schools. So then where we were? If they just count 150 years or 400, then what about the other 250 years? That's us? Is that supposed to be our timeline? that mama, I got the picture in one of my books here. Her mama is in an Indian school. So if her mama was in an Indian school, I know some of our mamas in an Indian school too. I mean, y'all, this a fight. And some people ain't ready to fight because they just want to play. You know, they just want to play. And to hear grown ass men playing, it's a sad day in America to me. It's a sad day, what I see. And for me to see it, and y'all sit there and think I'm old and all you want to, because I got more life in me than half of these niggas in their 30s. I see them. I look at them. They old. They old as hell in the face and in the head. Gray-headed as hell, and they sitting here calling me old? No. I got the spirit of truth in me and righteousness with it. So we need to be about our business because our ancestors died for this shit. And we're gonna die for it too if we don't live right. So I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. Y'all know I'm just saying.
In 1839, the Act of Union brought together the West.
Oh, you said, well, I took the video from last night from Joe Biden telling them, giving them people an apology for having them in boarding schools for 150 years. He apologized to them. And he told them that they fought in that civil rights movement was about them. He told them that they fought in the wars. And I took it over to smoke them because I felt like, hell, ain't nobody even going in on this shit. Ain't nobody even talking about it. So I wanted to talk about it. I did a live on it, and still ain't nobody talking about it. So I took it over there and asked him to show it. And he showed it, and everybody laughed at it. They laughed like, what y'all want? What y'all want? Y'all want an apology? Nigga. I thought they wasn't even inflamed, man. They didn't even feel it. Because they got the Mandela effect. They don't remember a damn thing that done happened to us. They don't remember. They don't have no heart for it. It's just a joke to them. Get the white boys on. Get the white boys on. Get the Pan-Africans on. I heard today that they got the Pan-Indians. They said it on this video right here. Pan-Indians. And that means a conglomerate of all people. That's what Pan-African is. A conglomerate of all the Africans. Them pan the damn together. Pan-Aboriginals. Because they damn sure ain't indigenous. Not acting like they don't damn care. What y'all saying in the chat? I love when y'all say something. Let me see. Okay, let me go back up here and read what y'all saying to me. Because right now, we're going to look at some more of him. I was finna say I can end this, but no, I ain't going to end it. What you think? Okay. Oh, I saw the news on that yesterday AM, and I sent that video to tons of folks. They ignored it too. Yes, I said we should have been there. Yeah, at the ceremony heckling Dopey Joe. No, we should have been there saying, "You telling a lie, Joe. You telling a lie, Joe." Shit, me, Mama Chief. You can't feed steak to babies because their systems are developed to digest the food that has been cooked. They can only handle mother's milk. But these niggas was probably on Similac. You know it! Or Infamil. That system was not developed. Yeah, you're right. Some of my family perished in the fires at the boys' school in Mississippi. Wow, yeah. Some just want a bag. Yep. Writing on your business, heckling and cussing his ass out, and the Siberian Huskies and Mongolian mutts. Absolutely. Ain't no pan of Indian is unique. No, they got Pan-Indian over there on the reservation, what I'm talking about. You can call yourself an Indian all you want to, but that ain't got nothing to do with them over there. My mom used to do that. Go to the native ceremonies and fuss them out in the 80s. Okay, mama. Shout out to mama. Okay, mama. How do we make a response to that ceremony and deliver it to the dopey? Chris! Christopher got it. Christopher got it. Right, Chris? Because we need to appeal this shit. We need to stop. We need to appeal this. We need to get in place. We don't have nobody fighting for us, y'all. We have a black caucus. We have an Indian, a native caucus. We have an African caucus. Everybody got a caucus but us. How about everybody got a, what they call that thing, an embassy but us? Everybody got an embassy over here, but we don't have nothing to represent us. Everybody in this community aren't loyal to the community because they ain't loyal to their own family and won't go after their own ancestral land or resources, but they'll go for views and likes. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a real fact. But see, this is the thing. This is no community. The community is only this is this community that y'all come over here before saying Aboriginal community. There is none. Who is it? Smoke, AP, Sister Betty. Who else? What's the community? Where is this Aboriginal community folks keep talking about? And I've been around here just as long as anybody. And in 2019, when I left, and Chief Holiday told me to my face, Mama Chief, I'm sorry, this is not what you thought it was. Because I really thought we was tribing up at that time. We was all about tribe up, 10 toes down. This shit was real for me. I was telling people, boots on the ground. People was coming to visit me. 2019, I had so many people coming right here to Georgia to see Mama Chief. But now they're like, I don't fucking exist. But I've been around here just as long as anybody else in this space. I do not consent to the president's apology to the Siberians for atrocities that the truth. I do not consent. Me either, baby. Me either. So, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all coming in here, hanging out with me, because I'm trying to share things that we need that can help
Cherokees,
us.
formerly of Arkansas, and the recently removed Cherokees as the Cherokee Nation, and they established their capital at Tahlequah.
Look at that, them crackers.
And on the 9th of November in 1848, Cherokee Lodge number 21.
He said Tellico? He just said Tellico. That's where Aunt Nancy them from. That's where my folks from. I got records of my folks going to Tellico. Nancy Ward is my relative who fought in the battle with her and her husband to win the battle over the creek in the Cherokee land. How is these people getting away with being us when we got the records to prove that we them, and then we got the blood to put on the damn table too? I don't understand. I don't understand how we can be so damn quiet, or how we can be so lackadaisical that every day go by and we don't take care of no Indian business. Because evidently somebody don't believe it. That's all I can say. Whoever's sitting on all that documentation that beats conversation, they don't believe that they're damn Indian either. Because ain't nowhere in the world they can keep sitting here letting this shit go on. Because it's fraud to sit and let it happen on yourself. It's on our watch. This is on our watch. We can do it, but we got to do it. I mean, we got people that claim they got their records and they ain't even trying to come together. And I know I got records of every damn body that if I can call your name out, I got a record that belongs to somebody in your family. And if I can call your name out and your family connected to me, why the hell is the hate so thick? Because I feel the hate. I'm just tired of the bullshit now. I feel the hate in this so-called community, which I know it's not. I used to get up every morning And you can ask half of these niggas who really know will tell the truth. They was on my phone calling me. We was making chat. We was the reason why niggas know what they know. Because we was in the back chat learning, teaching each other. It wasn't no argument. It wasn't no fussing and fighting. We were bringing our information together. And we was coming together with knowledge. Early every morning. Back before 2019 when I walked away. Because I walked away because I saw all the bullshit. Let me play this, man, because I'm telling y'all the truth.
Was chartered by the Grand Lodge of Arkansas, and they originally met in the Cherokee Supreme Court building, which we see here, and this still stands to this day. And by 1851, that lodge had a membership of around 28 Masons. Now, we have lodges beginning to develop in the Indian Territory, and the question is, who is joining these lodges, and what sort of, what sort of Indians are joining the lodges? And when you picture an Indian, you probably don't picture someone who looks like me. But the situation is that the men that were joining Freemasonry in the Indian Territory before the Civil War were mixed blood tribal headmen, and they were usually of Scottish descent, some Irishmen mixed in there. And these are some of the individuals that were became early Masons in the Indian Territory. So there on the left, we have William P. Ross, who was a member of Cherokee Lodge number 21. He took the degrees of Freemasonry in Federal Lodge number 1 of Washington, D.C., which was...
Where the hell is these crackers from again? I had walked out, but I heard him. Where they from? Scotland and everywhere? But these are your Freemason Indians. These are the ones that made everything happen for them and took it from us. Look at that.
Common when tribal headmen would visit the nation's capital on business, they frequently became Freemasons there, and that was because the men who had influence in government and could see to the affairs of the tribes were often Masons. So this was an avenue for them to build a bridge of connection there. In the center we have Peter P. Pitchlin. He was a member of Choctaw Lodge number 52, and he also became a Freemason in Federal Lodge. And then on the right is Daniel N. McIntosh, who was at Muskogee Lodge number 93. That's actually one of my great uncles. And Daniel also became a Baptist minister in the 1840s. So you've got men joining Masonry for government connections, but you've also got a handful of Christian missionaries operating in the Indian Territory who are Masons, and they are influencing the tribes as well. So some of those missionaries included the Methodist Thomas Bertolf, who we see here on the left. He was at Cherokee Lodge number 21. That's also my fourth great grandfather. In the center, we've got the Baptist Henry F. Buckner, who was at Muskogee Lodge number 93. And then on the right is the Presbyterian Cyrus Kingsbury, who was at Choctaw Lodge number 52. And it's important to understand that no Indians were joining Freemasonry prior to European contact, and that was typically precipitated by conversions to Christianity. So, once they converted to Christianity, they would typically join the fraternity.
It went together.
Now, this is what the Indian Territory looked like prior to the Civil War, and the borders of the Indian nations really run from the border of Arkansas all the way over to what is Texas. And you see that strip of public land there. It's Oklahoma's panhandle today. As my son pointed out, it looks more like the handle of a meat cleaver. But
absolutely, Chris, even that. I asked you, did you have my information? Do you know how to reach me? Because business is business. Ain't nobody talking business. And I would love to talk to you. I got some more people to put you in touch with too. So, do you have my information to reach me? I'm going to put my email in the chat again for anybody who needs it. All right, you guys. Appreciate you.
that strip of land was actually part of the state of Texas that they gave up in order to join
my
the Union
Texas
as a
people at?
slave state. And then another area that comprises this Indian territory, you see Greer County there in the far southwest. Texas was claiming that as their territory due to a survey error. The border between Oklahoma and Texas is the Red River. An error on the survey showed that the North Fork of the Red River was the only fork, so Texas was claiming that as theirs. And then you've got this lease district out here to the west of the Chickasaw Nation. That's actually Chickasaw territory that the Chickasaws were leasing to the federal government so that they could place other Plains Indian tribes on that land. Now, in 1861, the American Civil War begins, and the federal government withdraws entirely from the Indian Territory, and the Confederacy chose to take advantage of the situation. They sent Albert Pike over to negotiate treaties of alliance with the 5 tribes. Pike had represented the Choctaws and Chickasaws as well as the Muskogees in claims against the federal government, so he already had rapport with those headmen, and he had secured settlements for those tribes of $800,000 for the Chickasaws and the Choctaws as well as the Muskogees in those land claims. The Civil War was particularly devastating for the Indian Territory, and it was devastating for the 5 tribes politically as well. The federal government chose to punish them for their alliance with the Confederacy, and in doing so, they reduced their land holdings to what you see here, which is today eastern Oklahoma. So the Cherokee Nation and the Cherokee and the Creek Nation are greatly reduced. The Choctaw Nation did not suffer any sort of land diminishment. The Seminoles are also greatly reduced, and the Chickasaws as well. During the Civil War, all of the Masonic lodges that were operating were suspended because they'd ceased to function and their charters withdrawn by the Grand Lodge of Arkansas. And then the Reconstruction treaties of 1866 were heavily punitive, again outlining the reduced land holdings, but they also required the 5 tribes to provide a railroad right-of-way through the Indian Territory. And it's the expansion of the railway running from Kansas to Texas where Indian exploitation really begins. And then what had been Indian Territory
when they say Indian exploitation, is it clear to see y'all that they're redistributing the people, and they got 2 different people that they are finagling in the midst of what they're doing? Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? Do y'all see what they're doing? They're juggling them down over there while they're juggling us over here. But who was the slave that was on the lands that we already was occupying when they call themselves moving these people over there to the territory? Y'all see what I'm saying here? Because they weren't working on no cotton fields. They weren't working in no tobacco plants. They weren't on no, what was these people who are now on the Oklahoma res? Where were they during the time when all the cotton picking days was going on and the farming? Because we were farmers. Let's not forget what our craft was. We were farmers on our land, right? Now, what the hell did they farm? I don't even think they know how to farm now, do they? Which we don't either have, but we don't know how to farm now either, half of us. But that's crazy. I mean, that's just like everything we know that was created in the Americas. It was not created by those Mongolians that they got on the res, right? So who created all of these things that people use in these days? I mean, do y'all remember when that list came out to show the the American inventions that all of our people had invented. Y'all remember when you first saw that list? Who remember when they first saw that list of all the inventions that which we had created? So when they got here, all they could do was pick up shit. Pick up creations that we had to design. And the only thing they created was the patent office, so that they could patent everything that we had already designed. So can any of those Asia added people say they did any of this creation that we did, y'all? These are the things we got to stand on, y'all. We got to stand on our truth. We got to stand on the fact that we know that we are the creators of all of this.
The West that was reduced, that would later become the Oklahoma Territory through a series of land runs. Being the first to reach the Kansas border at a point in the Neosho Valley in 1870, the Missouri, Kansas, and Texas Railway Company was granted the exclusive right to cross the Indian Territory. Known as the Katy Railway, the company's line reached the Red River by the end of 1872. Towns quickly sprang up along the rail line, with the right-of-way allowing for Euro-Americans to begin settling in the Indian Territory. The Oklahoma Masonic luminary Joseph S. Murrow remarked on this, saying, "There is a class of reckless white adventurers in this territory.
Y'all
Some of
heard
these
that?
have perhaps
Reckless
been
white.
Masons somewhere, perhaps expelled, at best irregular and unreliable." Now, the 5 tribes were removed to the
Look at
Indian
that
Territory
house.
because the land was considered to be useless.
Who
Upon
house was that?
arrival,
Y'all
they
didn't
began
build
to reestablish their
it?
homes and their
so
nations,
mad.
and it was
I know
quickly
I'm
discovered
hollering
the land
too,
was
because I'm hollering over
not
this
useless.
man.
The
Let me
area
cut
was
it
rich in
down
timber,
some.
it was
Shit.
rich in coal, there was plenty of land for
Look at
cattle
that
and
house, y'all.
for
Can y'all
variety
see
of
that house?
livestock
Y'all
grazing,
can't see it.
and there were oil seeps in the region. Here we see Hunter's Home, which is the only surviving antebellum plantation home in Oklahoma. This was a Cherokee property, and this is really representative of what the wealthiest of the 5 tribe citizens were able to build in the Indian Territory. So
Listen at that
fine
shit.
homes, the same as they had when they resided in the southeastern portion of the United States.
Listen! Did y'all hear
It was
this
through
shit?
coal,
Wait a
and
minute, hold it. Hold it. The Asians built that house just like they built the houses in the South. Y'all gonna let them get away with that shit too, huh? They gonna get away with that one too, huh? These crackers are lying. Y'all gonna let them get away with that? They built the houses in the South, just like they built the house we just saw right there. Y'all gonna let them get away with that, right? I'm done. Let me write this name down so I can look his ass up. Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm taking my notes. I done seen that name too, McAllister. He's the lieutenant governor, y'all. Of what? 1911 to 1915. Ooh-wee. Y'all, where we at? Okay, y'all.
As I said, the exploitation began. Here we see James J. McAllister, who is seated in his Templar
I know
uniform.
that name.
He is chatting with Grand Commander of Knights Templar of Indian Territory, Frank Smith. McAllister was a Confederate veteran. In 1869, he opened a general store in the Choctaw Nation at the crossroads of the California and Texas roads. He had with him notes on oil outcrops in the region that he had secured from a railway engineer that he had boarded with in Arkansas. In 1872, he married Rebecca Birney, a Chickasaw citizen, and this granted him citizenship in the Chickasaw Nation.
Yes, ma'am.
That was one of the ways that white men could become Indian citizens, was through intermarriage. And that citizenship allowed McAllister to stake a claim in coal deposits in southeastern Oklahoma. And it was those coal deposits that caused the Katy Railway to build their line through those crossroads, naming the town that sprung up there, McAllister, for James J. Now, this is what the Indian Territory
Let me get a
looks
picture of
like
this.
after the
I
Civil
need a
War,
picture of this,
with the
y'all.
western portion of the state no longer in the hands of the 5 tribes. Indian land was held in common by the tribe. An individual could build and occupy on the land, but they could not buy or sell the land. And this provided, as I said, that there was ample space for grazing. They could livestock associations were formed, such as the Muskogee and Seminole Livestock Association, and these created roundup districts across the Indian Territory that they could transport cattle to eastern markets. The Cherokee Outlet, or the Cherokee Strip there that you see just south of the Kansas border, the Cherokees still owned that, but they didn't have immediate access to it, so they were leasing that out to livestock associations for cattle grazing. In 1887, Congress passes the General Allotment Act, which was also known as the Dawes Act. An allotment was the process of allotting common land to individuals, allowing for the sale of surplus lands. And the end goal of allotment was Indian assimilation. If you can take away this communal ownership of the land, you can eliminate the tribe by propping the individual up over the community.
Y'all heard
The
it?
5 tribes were initially exempted.
Did y'all hear that? Y'all, I got to know that y'all hear that. Damn it. Are y'all getting this, man? Because this is very important. Did y'all hear that? Please tell me y'all heard that. I mean, for real. Oh boy, I tell you what, I'm frustrated with this madness, y'all. I get mad every day with this shit. Hey, Goddess, how you doing, love? Great continuation. Y'all, did y'all hear that man say what he said just then, y'all? Please tell me y'all
And
did.
Congress passes the General Allotment Act, which was also known as the Dawes Act. An allotment was the process of allotting common land to individuals, allowing for the sale of surplus lands. And the end goal of allotment was Indian assimilation. If you can take away this communal ownership of the land, you can eliminate the tribe by propping the individual up over the community.
Y'all heard
The
it?
5 tribes were initially exempted from allotment, along with the Osage, the Miami, and Peoria, as well as the Sac and Fox Nations. In 1889, President Benjamin Harrison appointed the Jerome Commission to negotiate with the Cherokees and other tribes, specifically around the Cherokee Outlet. The Cherokee Treaty, the Reconstruction Treaty of 1866, as I said, had cut off the Cherokee Nation from the outlet, and the federal government had placed other tribes between the Cherokees and the Cherokee Outlet. And the outcome of the Jerome Commission was the sale of the Cherokee Outlet to the federal government, along with any specifically land that was not allotted to individuals. In 1893,
Who are
the
them
Dawes
people right
Commission
there, y'all? Hold
sets
up.
out upon the Indian Territory,
Them
and
is
they were
people look
responsible
like
for
us,
compiling the
y'all.
rolls of members of the 5 tribes and
But
allotting
they
homesteads.
What are they?
Creek,
They some
Choctaw,
of them
and
mixed,
Chickasaw
some of them ain't.
allotments were to be
Can y'all
160
see 'em?
acres. Seminole allotments 40 acres, and Cherokee allotments 80 acres, and there were to be equalization payments made to the tribes for the sale of surplus land. The Dawes Commission was met with resistance and were unsuccessful in their initial results. So in 1898, the Curtis Act was passed, which allowed the Dawes Commission to determine themselves who was Indian, who was not, and provide for law enforcement in the Indian Territory. The Curtis Act also called for the dissolution of tribal governments by 1906, which didn't actually come about. And in the 1930s, the Indian Reorganization Act granted the right of Indian tribes to adopt a constitution subject to the approval of the Secretary of the Interior. Now, in response to allotment and
Who was
the idea that the
reorganized?
state was going
What
to
the
be
hell?
carved out of these territories, there was a proposal to form an
That name right there, Sequoia, is the name of that Asian man who created the Cherokee language. Why would the Cherokee need a language to be created in the 1830s something if they was the Cherokee? They had to create a language because they was a mixture of a bunch of different people. while we were still sitting here speaking the same language we always spoke to each other. Sick of these people with their lies.
Indian state from the old Indian territory, and that was the state of Sequoia. Several principal chiefs of the 5 tribes sought to do this and attempted to in 1905. They had introduced a number of bills into Congress to allow for this the Sequoia statehood, but the Republican-led Congress at the time refused to hear those bills as they had no desire to admit what would certainly be a heavily Democratic state into the Union at the time. It had long been believed that the new state of Oklahoma was only going to consist of the Oklahoma Territory. And the man that was leading the Sequoia Convention was Pleasant Porter, who was chief of the Muskogee Nation. He had become a Master Mason in 1878. And again, he's a mixed blood tribal headman. And it's important to understand who was joining Masonic Lodge at the time as far as Indians go. Full-blood citizens typically were not, and the Muskogee Nation had long been divided over. You had a segment of the tribe that were considered traditionalists, and they adhered to the old ways, and then you had a segment of the tribe that were adopting Western culture, and these were typically the mixed-blood citizens. And again, those were the men who were typically becoming Freemasons. Of course, on the 16th of November, Oklahoma enters the Union as the 46th state. You see here our first state flag. And in a promise kept, written in 2023, Robbie Etheridge highlights how one of the objectives of statehood frequently.
Tom, and for everybody who needs to know, I need for y'all to look at this on your own, because we're gonna cut it off in a minute, y'all, because I don't, I'll let y'all finish it. But it's October the 24th, symposium of the Academy of Masonic Knowledge, bro. It's all about the Masonic knowledge and how everything was basically set up by Masonic. But they say they are Jews. They're not the Muslim Moors, but they are Jewish Masons. And they are the ones that was put in place to do a lot of this Indian business takeover, look like from this video to me. And we're at 2 hours and 6 minutes. And there's 2 more hours on here. And I was at the end of it when I realized I wanted to share it. And I heard her mention the Killers of the Flowery Moon. And in that movie, they literally gave them women's diabetes through a syringe needle. That's why today they have to take that shot. Because in that movie, they show that they start giving the Indian women's shots, and they called it diabetes.
Stated in public was to secure and develop the Indian Territory for and by white Americans. So this exploitation is really sort of explicitly stated out there in the public.
Is that telling us the truth?
Oklahoma is born of the marriage of what we call the Twin Territories, Oklahoma and the Indian Territory. Now, I've talked about coal and timber and
y'all, I wish y'all could see.
There was also oil in the region.
I'm going to make sure y'all can see this next time,
oil
y'all.
and
I don't like
gas
it when y'all can't see.
noted in the Indian Territory as early as 1830.
All them
Indians in the region were using these seeps medicinally for external use for ointments and tinctures.
Listen. Y'all, this is at 2 hours and 6 minutes and 57 seconds. When we finish this video, if y'all feel like y'all got time at any point, I need for y'all to look at this visual of all of these oil rigs out here on this territory. I mean, far as you can see little oil rigs peeked up in the back there. And he said they was using them for medicine, for science, for medicinal purpose. Did you hear all of that? And he said they was using these minerals that was coming out of the land for. And when I mentioned the minerals then, it reminded me of, y'all remember when I did the bill the other day on the Gullah Geechee I'm gonna say murders. Look, y'all, I don't cut my tongue with y'all. I ain't studying y'all on YouTube. How they let them people fell in that water and they perished. The Gullah Geechee people out there celebrating. Y'all know all of those was elders that was deceased, right? They was elders. Do y'all know the minerals that is out there on that island that these people want these people to get off that island so they can get? All kind of minerals out there, y'all. Hematite, sulfur, everything is out there. It's so many minerals out there on that little island. And they want it. Don't y'all think that's something we see? Every time I hear something like that, even when those people was fighting, those last people who was telling them they was from Oklahoma and they was fighting for their stuff. See, those are the fights we need to be on. All of us need to be on those fights. We need to be on that fight. Them people trying to take that land from them Gullah Geechee people. Hell, it don't belong to them to take. But that's something we all should be standing with them on. One real Indian fight is all our fight, damn it. We so scared to damn fight, it ain't funny. Martin Luther King did a number on us with his Portuguese ass. He did a number on us. Turn the other cheek. Man.
1872, a white man named Robert M. Darden drilled in the Chickasaw Nation for oil. However, the refusal of federal officials to recognize non-Indian leases doomed his attempts at drilling. In 1889, Edward Byrd, an intermarried Cherokee, drilled his first of 11 wells in the Cherokee Nation, but he found that there was no market for his output of oil. In 1897, the Nellie Johnstone #1 well near Bartlesville became the first commercially successful oil well, producing 50 barrels a day. But again, there was no means to move the oil to market. That situation changed in 1899 when a rail line was constructed to Bartlesville, and Bartlesville quickly became a boom town overnight. In 1901, the Red Fork Field was developed around Tulsa. Tulsa became known as the oil capital of the world. And then in 1905, the Glen Pool was discovered, and that was also just south of Tulsa. And it made Oklahoma a national leader in oil production. For 22 years, between 1900 and 1935, Oklahoma ranked first among the mid-continent states in oil production, and for 9 additional years, ranked second. With these oil fields being discovered around Tulsa in what was the Muskogee Nation, and
look at that, y'all!
being
Hold up,
pushed
Sarah Rectum,
across
y'all.
the region around the turn of the
Oh
century,
man!
wealth
Man, see
began
how they
to
gonna do
flow
that?
to individuals who
How
had
they gonna
previously
mix?
never experienced any wealth.
Man, stop! How they gonna mix Sarah Rector, a Muskogee Freeman descendant, and her baby in this video while they talking about them pale-skinned Indians? And they ain't even talking about us at all, but how they gonna put her right here? Y'all know I'm a little, y'all know how I am with this bull crap. Look at that. Let me get her name too. That's crazy. That is real crazy what I'm looking at, y'all.
And to provide for this, a guardianship scheme was employed. The guardians were to provide aid or guidance to help organize and protect the personal finances of those considered to be incompetent. And often, oil discovery on an allottee's land was evidence enough of incompetence. In 1908, Congress transferred jurisdiction over Indian probate matters in eastern Oklahoma to the local county courts. And guardians were then assigned by county judges, sort of, at a whim. If a judge had friends that he wanted to assign a guardianship to, he could. And the average cost of administering these estates ran between 20% to as high as 75% for managing the allottee's wealth. And often at times, by the time a ward became of age, their estate had been squandered. In 1911, this allotment wealth took a tragic turn, and we started to begin to see murders associated with obtaining inheritances. Herbert and Stella Sells were two children aged 12 and 10, and they were the descendants of Muskogee freedmen. When the Muskogee Nation came west, they brought with them 5,000 slaves.
Great continuation, Legend of Naga. Charlie, how are you? Thanks for coming in. None of your business. Sharon, Christopher Creer, Tom Jones. Shout out to all y'all. I don't know about my other people. Y'all probably gone. Goddess Centrum. Who else up in here? Sharon Walker. Who else up in here, y'all? I appreciate y'all coming up in here today. Really do.
As well, the other 5 tribes included in that, the 5,000 slaves total. And under the Treaty of 1866, a descendant of Muskogee freedmen was entitled to citizenship in the tribe. These are the descendants of slaves, and they received allotments just like everyone else.
Oh, so that's why you put her up there.
Herbert and Stella's home was blown up, and in order that their allotment wealth could be funneled to their guardians and other individuals. Sarah Rector, who we see here, was another case of a Muskogee freedman descendant who also received an allotment that proved to be quite profitable, I guess you could say.
Oh, you done hated to say it, though, didn't you?
Present-day Glencoe,
God damn, y'all heard
60
me?
miles from the family home in Taft. The land was
don't
considered
look right
worthless
enough
as
for
it
him
was
to
sandy
say
and
that
rocky,
shit.
and it also had a $30 annual tax bill, which is around $1,000 today. Her father in 1911 leased that allotment to the Devonian Oil Company of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And in 1913, a gusher was struck on the allotment that produced 2,500 barrels of oil a day, which is roughly $300 a day.
Sharp too, right there.
Sarah was assigned a guardian named T.J. Porter, who was a white rancher and a neighbor of the family. And he apparently was one of the better of the guardians. Sarah was whisked away from Oklahoma, and she attended elementary school at the Tuskegee Institute and went on to attend Fisk University. And the family then moved to Kansas City, where they never returned to Oklahoma because it was essentially too dangerous for them there. They risked murder coming back. Another avenue in which the wealth, this newfound wealth, could be funneled to other individuals was a divorce scheme. Young flappers would ensnare wealthy Indian men in marriage, then sue for divorce. The courts would then grant liberal alimony, and those women would share those payments with their partners in the act, which was typically their attorney. And this takes us up to the Osage and the oil found on the Osage Reservation. That red star is where Tulsa is. And you can see Tulsa straddles the Muskogee Nation, the Cherokee Nation, and then Osage County, or the Osage Nation. And all of these oil fields are in and around Tulsa in that area. In 1839, the Osage were removed from the Indian Territory to Kansas in order to curb the ongoing hostilities between them and the Cherokees. In 1864, their reservation in Kansas was reduced. It became known as the Diminished Reserve. They were forced to sell that reservation in 1870, at which time they purchased what is today Osage County from the Cherokee Nation, which was then in the Cherokee Strip. They moved down to Osage County in 1871, and that's a roughly 2,300 square miles, which I believe is a little larger than the state of Delaware. In 1906, the final roll of the Osage Nation was completed, and the land was allotted amongst 2,229 Osage citizens. In their treaty negotiations and around allotment, they managed to secure their mineral rights and hold those in common as the land would have originally been done. And this gave birth to the Osage head right, which was one equal share of the oil and gas royalties of the Osage Nation. And to give you an example of how much money we're talking about is in these head rights, in 1924, in one afternoon, over $10 million in oil leases were sold in Osage County. In 1921, the Osage were required to pass a measure of competency, proving they could manage their funds responsibly. So we see this competency issue going on. Now, Killers of the Flower Moon is a film based on the book by David Grann. I had the opportunity to meet David Grann several years ago when he was in Oklahoma City. And the film opens with this scene of this oil field. And to me, when I was sitting in the theater and I saw this on the big screen, which you can see it on a big screen today, this was sort of like the Oklahoma of legend to me. It was very impressive. The film is a story about the Kyle sisters, their head rights, and the scheme to funnel their wealth to other individuals. The Kyle sisters were Molly, Minnie, Anna, and Rita. And during what became known as the Osage Reign of Terror, there were approximately 24 murders of Osage citizens, potentially 60, but all told, over 200 Osage citizens died during this time frame between 1918 and 1931. And this is a tribe that only consisted of just over 2,000 citizens. Most of the murders were committed between 1921 and 1926. Now, the man behind all of this death was William K. Hale, who in the film is portrayed by Robert De Niro. The K stands for King, and Bill Hale referred to himself as the King of the Osage Hills. He conspired with his nephews to obtain the Osage head rights, and those nephews being Ernest and Byron Burkhart. There's a great podcast on this subject that I recommend to everyone, and it's called In Trust. And in that podcast, the host delves into historical interviews with a man named Alfred Alexander Jack Drummond. And he is the son of Frederick Drummond, who is a wealthy rancher in Osage County. The Drummond family is still around today. But Jack Drummond purchased a half of a head right in 1925 for just over $20,000. And then in 1928, he purchased another quarter of a head right for just over $11,000. And he purchased this head right from a man named O.V. Pope, who had inherited the head right from his Osage wife upon her passing. As I said, the Drummond family is still around. Our Attorney General today is Getner Drummond. I served
I know that right,
the Oklahoma Historical Society with one of Getner's
we gotta
cousins,
do this,
Drummond.
man.
Of
Who's
course,
gonna do
Reed
it if
Drummond,
we
a
don't?
pioneer woman who some of you may be familiar with, and her line of goods and products.
Okay, I'm gonna
The
get
Drummond
to
family in 1926
We gotta do
partnered
it,
with the
Chris.
Mullendorf family, and they actually
Glad to
purchased
have your
all
boy.
Hale's Ranch. So Hale's Ranch still exists, just under a different name. And then Osage head rights are still around today, and still producing income as well. The Oklahoma Historical Society manages what is
That's
called
what I
Burkhart
wanted
Trust,
to get somebody
which was
fired up like
the
me.
estate of Lily Burkhart. And upon her passing, she made the donation of her home to the Historical Society to be managed as a memorial for her ancestor, who was Chief Pawhuska. Lily was married to Byron Burkhart, one of Bill Hale's nephews, and that trust has with it a head right that generates a perpetual income that we use to maintain the site. Now I'm going to go through a series of other individuals.
Y'all know that's our land in
encounter the
Oklahoma
film
too,
who
right?
actually did exist.
Y'all do know that's our land in Oklahoma, right? Since they named it and dubbed it Indian Territory and took and put some imposters on the land, left us to be slaves in the land, that's our land too. Shouldn't me?
And this is where
All those territories that they carved out, they got Cherokee right there, they got Choctaw right there. Yeah, that's our land.
the Masonic involvement comes into this. So these are the men who were all Freemasons there in Fairfax. So in the film, the first man we encounter is Pitts Beatty. Pitts was an attorney in Fairfax. He had 8 guardianships. He was the guardian of Molly Kyle, who the film centers around, and 2 of Pitt's wards actually died during the Osage Reign of Terror. Pitts became a Mason in Gray Horse Lodge number 124, Fairfax, in 1907. He served that lodge as worshipful master from 1913 to 1915, and was district deputy grand master from 1924 to 1929. And he'd also received the Knight Commander of the Court of Honor at Guthrie. The next individual we encounter in the film who was also a Mason is Scott S. Mathis. Now, there's no Mathis in the film. There's this guy it was the Undertaker Turton, played by Barry Corbin, who you might remember from the television show Northern Exposure. But the Undertaker Turton in the film is definitely Mathis. Mathis operated the Big Hill Trading Company, and he had 9 guardianships, of which 7 of his wards died, including Molly's sister Anna Brown and their mother Lizzie Q. Mathis was also a member of Gray Horse Lodge, becoming a Mason in 1905, and served that lodge as secretary in 1906. In the film, there's a scene after Lizzie Q passes where Ernest is arguing with the Undertaker over the price being charged for the funeral. And Ernest says, you're charging me the Osage price for this funeral service and for inflated funeral costs. And the Osage price was something that was actually happening in Osage County. Jack Drummond talks about this in one of his interviews. He had worked for the Hominy Trading Company, which his father owned. Hominy's 26 miles away from Fairfax. And he said they would take a $6 shirt that they might sell for $10 to a white man, and they would charge the Osage $50 to $60 for those shirts. So you've not only got the head rights that are being funneled to other individuals through murder and other nefarious means, but you're also fleecing the Osage out of their wealth. We also encountered the Shown brothers in the film, David A. and James G. They were physicians in Fairfax. James held 7 guardianships. They both became Masons there in Gray Horse Lodge, David in 1919, James in 1916, and James served the lodge as treasurer from 1919 to 1921. The pair left Fairfax in 1928 for Canyon City, Colorado, which is an interesting time to leave Fairfax. Hale, at this point has been arrested, but he's not finally convicted until 1929. But the Shown brothers bug out just before that. In the film and in the book, there's reference to a wasting illness, and you see the Shown brothers injecting Osage citizens with medication. The Showns were absolutely poisoning Osage citizens there around Fairfax, and that's what this wasting illness was poisoning. The Showns were never charged with any sort of crime, and again, like I said, their departure from Oklahoma in 1928 is somewhat interesting. And then we've got the man himself, William K. Hale. In the film, he often calls himself a friend of the Osage. He was a rancher and banker there in Osage County, and he became a Mason in Gray Horse Lodge in 1907. He joined the Scottish Rite at Guthrie in 1919, and he was expelled from the fraternity in 1926, and that was after his initial conviction. He appealed that conviction for being heard in the wrong district court. It was overturned, and like I said, he was finally convicted in 1929 for one single murder, that of Henry Roan, and that was because that was the only murder that the federal government could prove happened on land that they had jurisdiction over. Hale received a life sentence in 1947, and he died in an Arizona nursing home in 1950. And then, of course, there's this infamous scene in the film. In the book, David Grand says that Hale is known to wear a Masonic pin. And, that's a reference in the book that is established that Hale's a prominent citizen in the Osage Nation. They probably could have put just a pin on him in the film, but it wouldn't have had the same effect. So they set this scene in the lodge. Now, this was actually filmed in Gray Horse Lodge there in Fairfax. This is about 1 hour into the film, and it takes great dramatic license with events, I guess you could say. In the film, Hale takes Ernest into the lodge room, and his brother, Ernest's brother Byron, is waiting. And in the scene, you'll hear them call each other brother. Ernest and Byron were never Masons. Only Hale was. So that's just the two referencing that they are actual brothers. And Ernest is being scolded for this insurance fraud scheme that he was engaging in, as well as the private investigation that Molly had launched. And in the scene, Hale says, "I am a 32nd degree Mason. I am imbued with confidence, trust, and responsibility, among other things." The film crew, when they came into town, it was really great for the economy in Oklahoma, and especially up in Osage country. They came into Fairfax, into Gray Horse Lodge here in Fairfax, fixed up the lodge room wonderfully, as you sort of see here. And they indicated that they wanted to film some sort of Masonic event or Masonic ceremony or something and use it in the movie. So they contacted the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma, and I think they had indicated that they were going to do something sort of Scottish Rite, which Hale mentions he's a 32nd degree Mason. So they send past Grand Master Robert G. Davis over to consult on the film, and he provided instructions on a Kadosh service, which is where you get this Scottish Rite element. But none of that was apparently used. Instead, we get this paddling scene, which people have asked me, you know, what's going on?
I remember that.
Oklahoma?
Yeah,
I mean, Oklahoma's a
that
strange,
scene.
interesting place. But I can assure you, this is, you know, there's nothing like this happening in Oklahoma. That's absolutely a
remember that
non-regulation Oklahoma
He
paddling.
paddled his butt, y'all, with
uh,
a big old piece of wood.
But they took a lot of dramatic license here. And this was just to add effect to the film. It was 1 hour into the film. By the end of that
I
3.5
won't be sure when
hour
they
affair,
gave
I
the
had
lady
forgotten
diabetes.
about this scene because you've been through so much in the film. Ernest Burkhart was convicted for killing Bill and Rita Smith. Byron, his brother, was never convicted. He actually turned state's evidence and helped bring down Ernest and William K. Hale. Osage citizens, and as I said, you know, you got to consider who is joining Freemasonry at this time. What Indians are joining Freemasonry? The Osage were not joining Freemasonry then. I don't know that they really are to this day, because the Osage were still mostly full-blooded citizens, and they weren't interested in these sort of things. It was, again, mixed-blood individuals that would become Indian Freemasons. And these were white lodges at Fairfax and at Hominy, and there was no
Peace,
Indian
Alexis.
membership there.
How you doing,
There
baby
was
girl?
absolutely not a Masonic conspiracy to kill the
Great
Osage.
continuation to you.
The Shawn brothers, if there was any conspiracy, it was the Shawn brothers and Hale and their associations. But there's something else going on in Oklahoma at this time that is just sort of casually referenced in the film, but you don't. It's not in the book, and so they bring this in and sort of gloss over it. And that is the Ku Klux Klan in Oklahoma. And there's a scene in the film where Molly is at a dinner table with Hale and Ernest, and Molly says, "Well, can Pitt's Klan help find out who's doing these murders and do something about it?" To which Hale states, "The Klan has no authority here." And then later in the film, there's a parade down Main Street of Fairfax, and we see the Klan in their robes marching.
Y'all know that's cotton they got on, right? They didn't know how to wear cotton till they got here where it growed at, right? I wonder who made those first Klan outfits. I was always under the impression they was made by the people who grew it. Because we know those is not the real Klan, those that's showing their face. The real Klan wore hoods, right? Right? See, this is the open Klan. These the races, the real open one. But the ones that wore the hood, I believe a lot of them look like me. Or look like you under them hoods. I'm just saying.
And there's Pitts Beatty leading this parade.
Yeah.
I don't know that Pitts Beatty was a member of the Klan. He was certainly an active Freemason, but the Klan was quite successful in infiltrating Freemasonry in Oklahoma in the 1920s. Now, nationally, the Klan had reestablished itself in Atlanta.
We ain't talking about the 1800s, y'all. We talking about 1900s. That's one thing I feel like is off too. A lot of timelines. I mean, people, they're running everything in with everything, you know, because the slavery thing was devastation enough, right? But then they running in everything with everything. Jim Crow, Ku Klux Klan, the hangings, you know, when a lot of that shit was just a lot of stuff, you know, that was going on, but it wasn't like it's being put. We ain't putting a timeline to it, right? I'm just saying.
Georgia in 1915, calling themselves the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, and their aim at that time was the promotion of Americanism. In 1920, the Klan began recruiting.
Who the first Americans? You know, we got a lot of niggas do that. But who the first American for real? Do anybody really know? Because these people know.
Oklahoma, having arrived by way of Texas. Now, although the Klan was highly organized with local, state, and national entities collecting dues and holding assemblies of varying scales, it was still a secret society. In Oklahoma, no records of members or member lists remain outside of one of a women's sect of the order. Writing in the 1930s, with a memory of the Klan's activities still vivid in the minds of many, Inez L. Clubb noted that it was the better citizens that belonged to the Klan. And in the summer of 1920, when the first Kleagles, which is what they called Klan recruiters, arrived in Oklahoma City, they brought with them letters of introduction from various fraternal orders in Texas. Seeking new members from established patriotic and fraternal orders, the Freemasons quickly became a primary focus of Klan recruitment, with Masonic and Klan membership in smaller towns becoming nearly interchangeable. When the Klan conducted a statewide cross burning as a memorial to President Harding in 1923, the Eufaula Clavern, which is what the local entity of the Klan was called, raised their cross on Foley Hill. Situated on the western edge of the city, and visible all across Eufaula, Foley Hill was thus named. It was the location of the grand home of Eufaula banker and entrepreneur Cornelius E. Foley, a past master of Eufaula Lodge No. 1. It is not known if Foley was a Klansman, but the message would have been clear to the citizens of Eufaula that prominent men were tolerant of the Klan. Klan meetings also operated in a fashion that was best conducted in lodge halls, highlighting its structure as a fraternal order. In Carter County, for example, the local Clavern there met in the hall of the Oddfellows Lodge. The Klan seems to have met in Watonga Masonic Lodge, if only briefly. In recent years, Watonga Lodge was in possession of piano that had belonged to the Clavern there. Klan membership, as I said, is difficult to nail down without membership records, but it is known that the Klan was at its height in late 1923. 1 in 10 eligible Oklahoma men were members of the Klan, with 200 to 300 local Klaverns at various times. A conservative estimate of Klan membership in Oklahoma appears to be around 95,000 members. And at this time, there were 62,000 Masons in Oklahoma. Oklahoma City and Tulsa naturally accounted for the largest numbers, with roughly 3,700 Masons in Oklahoma City and 2,600 in Tulsa. Klan membership in Oklahoma City and Tulsa was estimated at 2,500 and 3,200 respectively. The first grand dragon of the Klan in Oklahoma was Edwin DeBar, who was one of the 4 original professors of the University of Oklahoma. DeBar was also a very active Freemason and served the Grand Commandery of Oklahoma as Grand Prelate in 1902. He went on to become the Imperial Clud, which is the chaplain, the national chaplain of the Klan in 1923, and he also had a seat on their Imperial Council. Our second Grand Dragon of the Klan in Oklahoma was Newton Clay Jewett, who rose to that office in 23. He was the potentate of India's shrine in 1924, which is the state's larger and historic shrine temple. Under Jewett's leadership, the Klan in Oklahoma became a political force to reckon with, second only to the Klan in Indiana. To oversee the business affairs of the Klan in Tulsa, a holding company was created known as the Tulsa Benevolent Association.
Wow.
And they built this massive meeting hall that they called Beano Hall, as in there will be no Jews, there will be no Catholics, there will be no blacks. And they had a 5-trustee board, and on their board was a man named William Shelley Rogers, who in 1925 served as the Grand Orator of the Grand Lodge of Oklahoma. And in his oration at the annual communication of the Grand Lodge, Rogers called upon Freemasonry to bring forth intense nationalism to reverse what he saw as national disintegration. That disintegration to Rogers was brought about by socialism, communism, Sovietism, Bolshevism, internationalism, metropolitanism, and anarchism. Klan rhetoric to a T. In addition to the national objective of Americanism, the Oklahoma Klan concerned themselves with vice and morality. So this is sort of what Molly is referencing in the film Killers of the Flower Moon. The Klan saw thieves, bootleggers, gamblers, and other sinners going unpunished, and they turned to vigilantism. Governor Alfalfa Bill Murray remarked upon the Klan, saying, "It is a sad commentary that just now the hope of good morals and restraint against criminality."
Okay, y'all. I'm so disappointed in this video because I can't see nothing. And I asked y'all earlier, could y'all see it? Did y'all make it big enough? Could
Is
y'all
found in
see
a
it?
body of men whose
But I can't see it. And I'm just not noticing it. If I make it big, let me see, can I see it now?
organized method is not sanctioned by law. A Muskogee Klansman once remarked, "The threat of the gowned fraternity moves out the gangster, the bootlegger, and the man who abuses and neglects his wife and children. It certainly was
Not
born
really.
of great necessity in this oil country." While Black Oklahomans certainly fell victim to the Klan, the record of violence shows that the majority of the Klan's targets were errant whites. Klan activity elsewhere illustrates that Oklahoma was somewhat atypical in this regard. And coming back to this idea of Americanism and the Klan's objective of being the
Okay, y'all. My apologies, really. I want to apologize. I'm going to come right around over here and apologize to y'all. Listen, I did not know that y'all couldn't see. I could see it better when it's like this than I could on the phone. But I apologize to y'all because I thought y'all were at least seeing a little something what I was seeing. So y'all know I know what I'm doing. I ain't too ashamed to say that. But at the same time, I appreciate y'all hanging in here with me. It's 9 of y'all in here now. And I think y'all did get the understanding of what was going on. However, it's 2 hours in and it's 2 more hours to go. So we're going to stop right here with that and let y'all do your own homework. And if you choose to, you can watch the rest of it. But for those that who is feeling like I do, I get mad, y'all, when I see this crazy stuff. Okay? I don't like it. I don't like it because I feel like we're sitting ducks. And Christopher, I know you mentioned about Hawaii. I'm gonna check that out. I started to show it, but I'm gonna figure out how to fix this so that when I'm presenting, it will present. You know, because I am using 3 devices. You know what I'm saying? I am trying to maneuver this, which I don't know what I'm doing. It's okay though, right, y'all? It's okay, right? It's okay, right, y'all? I'm doing okay, y'all. What y'all think? I'm doing the best I can with it, you guys, you know, so please let's get let's get more about the business because the games people are playing right now, y'all see how hard, y'all see what they did. They put this in motion. They put all this down. I'm gonna get out this camera, y'all. Y'all know I don't like the camera. I'm just over here looking at myself. Oh my goodness, let me get out this camera. Okay, I don't get out the way, y'all. But let me see what y'all say. What y'all say? Who said something? Does anyone know the document that so-called Native Americans gave to foreign corporations to allow black slaves to be moved to Oklahoma? I don't know the black slave that moved to Oklahoma. All my people stayed, but some of them went to keep the culture. But the document that I got, let me see, can I find this document? Because I ain't ready to go. I think I still got some more time on my, what, the 30th ain't to what, Wednesday? Look, y'all, I be trying to ride my stream yard out. Let me see, can I find this document? Because it says, I got a document that says how my people were taken, the ones that did want to go, because some went. Some went to keep the culture, and some stayed to keep the land. Because we're still on the land. Excuse me. We're still on the land, right? Oh, okay. Y'all, I gotta get some more books. I don't tore up all my books. I move them around too much. Okay, let me see. Can I find this? See, because like he was saying, the Dawes Rolls. This is, who is this right here? This is my Aunt Sarah Carter, and she's Cherokee by blood, and she's on the roll. My great grandma, I got my great grandmama them stuff in here too. But now I'm looking for this one piece of paper. Y'all, I don't know where it's at. Map of the 13 colonies. See, they talking about where they was in the Muskogee communication, in the Muskogee territories and stuff. But then I got documents where my people were in territories and stuff too. And that's what I'm saying. We all should have documents if we've done any of our work yet. And Christopher, when we speak about Texas, do you know the fact of whether, because I have a theory, okay, and I'm asking this for a reason. Was it the French or the Spanish? Because I don't think the European didn't make it down that way, right? So I'm thinking it was the Spanish in the late 1800s that came through Texas. What do you say about that? I'm doing okay, sweetie. Thank you so much, my love. You encourage me. If it weren't for you sometime, I probably wouldn't come on here. I appreciate you so much. For sure. Chris, you still with me, baby? Okay. Well, anyway, y'all, I ain't gonna tarry. I think 2 hours long enough for y'all to hang out with me. Let y'all go and get into something else. Because I know I look. I don't try to just hang on. Oh, okay. There you go. There you go. So, who was it, Chris down there? I'm looking at the Spanish came up down through there and put their signature down into the Texas area. What do you say? What say you? Let's see what Tom said. I know that we are not the slaves, but they keep on saying that Black Wall Street was black slaves built the town, so I'm trying to see what document allowed that, considering that is in Indian country. Yeah, I feel you. I understand exactly what you're saying, but that you got to remember You say, they keep saying. You got to remember, they keep saying. See, they the one keep doing black. Ikahana, my love. Peace and love to you, darling. Thank you for dropping in to say hi to Mama G. Peace, love, and light. The light in me honors the light in you. For sure. But yeah, so they keep saying slaves. These are the words that they use. But when we know for a fact that we was always here and we was farmers, okay? That we was on our land fixing our food, growing our cotton, making our clothes. Come on. So yeah, they call that a slave because that's how they equated it to us. But we know that we have always been in these quarters where we are now. And we know that we didn't get taken away, that some other people got put over there and said that they was the Indians, while we was over here reclassified as the black, Negro, slave, whatever. But all of those words came from over there in Africa, over there in Morocco, over there in Europe. They didn't come from here in this land. So none of those applies to us. Absolutely right. You see what I'm saying? So it was Spain, okay? Look up the, no. I know. This is why I'm saying, Shamel, great continuation, love. I'm glad to see you. I hope you go back and check it out. I didn't have the visual right, but look at the video itself. You ain't got to listen to me. You ain't got to hear me rant and rave. You just the only reason why I did it was that I wanted to present it because I know that nobody else care about this type of stuff. So, but you ain't got to listen at my video. Go and listen at the real video so you can see the real visual. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't about no clicks and no views for me. This is about me getting this out to my people so we can figure out what the hell we're going to do about it. Because somebody else been taking our place too long. I remember that little thing when I was a baby little girl. They used to teach it to us, talk about the three little bears. Somebody been sitting in my chair. Somebody been eating my food. Somebody been sleeping in my damn bed. Now, wait a minute. It's been too long overdue. And if it's to be, it's up to us, right? That's what I always say. If it's to be, it's up to me. So what I'm saying is that we got to really, really think about what's happening here. We're in trouble. When a fake Joe Biden, because let me stop. I've been saying Joe Biden. Joe Biden didn't do that. That was a fake suit, skin suit wearing somebody. Y'all, I'm not going to let them censor me not to tell the truth. I'm not going to let them censor me to sit here and play a fool. That was not Joe Biden. Because Joe Biden, last time I saw him, he didn't even know how to get off the stage good. Let alone sitting there and make all of that I heard him say. So no, that was not Joe Biden. But the actor, and we know all of them are what? Actors. But this is real for me. This is not an illusion. So all I'm asking right now is for us who are real about this thing to get with somebody, y'all, let's make a difference. Because if you don't, Hawaii. Okay, Chris, here I come. Hawaii. What they did to Hawaii, they gonna do to us. They called this place the melting pot for a reason. And now you should see, they are bringing all of the undesirables, all of the detestables, all of the everything. And like Trump said, the garbage can. They're making, they call it America, but I'm just going to call it the land of ours. Because I'm not sure about that America no more, because I done heard too many crackers say they was the first America in documentation. I'm talking about way back. So I'm not with that, we the first American bull crap. Now, this is my land. I was here for you. So let's get that clear. But we have got to stand, because when that man sit there and told them for 150 years, we put y'all in school, we stole y'all children, he told all that. But what about ours? Y'all said 150 years, but y'all said it's been 400 years that y'all been doing this over here on this land. So what about the other 250 years then? What about that? If it's to be, it's up to me. If it's to be, it's up to me. As for every breath I take, for every day I wake up, I'm on this time. I'm on Indian business. And I can't stand a person that'll laugh about a situation when it's supposed to be about you. So, y'all, I'm telling you, that's a very serious video that crossed my desk today. And anything that I bring, I try to bring it because I feel like it's a need. Yeah, I'm old, I'm all this and I'm all that, but I'm about this life. And until I'm gone, this is the time I'm on. So I appreciate y'all for loving me and coming in here when y'all do. Anybody want to come up here and hang out with me for a minute and talk with me and kick it? What? Anybody? I'll drop the link. Come on up and build with me. But, okay, back to what I was saying, though, because y'all know I go all the way over there sometimes. Excuse me. About the fact, about what they did to Maui. They claim this the melting pot, and they bringing all this stuff here, right? They got the weapons because they showed it to us. Everything they do, they be demonstrating and showing us the effect of things that they can do. I'm not sure a lot of things happen that happen just really by chance no more. Because these people, they got so many things in place. And I don't know whether nobody did it that listened to Meta and Sister Betty. Shout out to Sister Betty and Meta Material, because I listen. I listen to people when my spirit tell me to listen for knowledge. I don't care about nothing else. I mean, I'll go in the trash can to get real what I need real. I'll go get it. Oh, yes, I will. So Meta said, get them TVs out your bedroom. Y'all think I did? I sleep so much better. It's about learning how to live in this place that they done created for us. Because they created time. Did y'all hear that man say they created time? They create this stuff. They have put us in a paradigm. Just like that movie where they had that boy playing, talking about he couldn't go outside his rim. What was that? It was on the TV. His show, The Truman Show. All of these things, man, they show us and then they do us. So Hawaii, them people say they still looking for their people. But don't you see that they got dams out? They got so many dams all over this place. They could set this place on fire because they don't care about no trees. No way. Y'all know they don't care about no trees. They can go ahead and set this place on fire, burn it, and then open up the dams and put the fire. Because they put a lot of stuff in place. They harnessing our energy, y'all. Are y'all familiar? These people are really literally refurbishing. They want to take your organs and give them to somebody else when you die. This is some crazy living. I mean, somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. You know, nobody want to come up with me. But anyway, I ain't going to tarry. I'm going to go ahead. It's 10 o'clock, y'all. Let y'all go over there and play in some of these little spots. Well, let me see. Somebody say anything to me? Let's see. Spain is a typical. Oh, Mama Chief, I went to Morocco and Tunisia, Africa in 1996 on a Fulbright scholarship. Whoa, okay. The scholars in Morocco did not call the landmass or political state Spain. That's right, it's Andalusia. That's right. This is a new thing that these people name stuff, right, Christopher? That's right, my sister. Mama, you gonna teach, Mama. That's all right. I'm okay, Shamel. I'm doing okay today. Just a little fired up because of the events that's happening, but I need that fire in my soul to keep me alive. Just to keep me alive. And Chris, all of the Six Flags was well, from what I understand, they were um farms. They were mega farm food supply land. And so was the 500 Indiana out there in Georgia, down South Georgia over there. That was one too. One number food and all the Six Flags. Yeah, but y'all. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of the night. I could go on now if y'all want to hang out with me. I'll hang out with y'all because I ain't got nothing else to do but go in here. Probably try to research some of these notes I caught tonight. What should I say? I love you, Mama Chief, and I support you. I had to get some stuff for my place, so I'm setting it up right now. But I will try to get on with you again next time. Okay, Shamel, that's fantastic. I'm glad you got your spot, and I'm glad you love me. Thank you so much. I love you back. And thanks for the support, for sure. Spain is really Haiti, Hispaniola. Well, that's new. That's if you look up when they put Spain on Hispaniola, Nanya, it will still be lately. It won't be something ancient. That's just like I can show you right now how they got every state around here, every city around here got all of this stuff from matter of fact, let me pull it up because I just saw that last night and it was amazing. I was like, now this is how we got all this to be named, everything from over there to over here. And the brother, the dude who did it, he went all. He said he done went from every end of this place to the other end, charting this out. So let me see can I find this right quick. Yeah, this civil rights era between 1950 and 63 didn't have nothing to do with no Asia added nobody or none of that. They need to stop. Well, only way they're gonna stop if we stop them. Remember somebody in the chat, I think it was Tom, said the fact that they do it in the open. Was that you, Tom? Say they doing it in the open. So kind of like we be talking about doing it in the private, but they doing it in the open. Yeah, they doing it in the open because they know you don't know no law and you don't know nothing to counteract them doing it. Right? That's why they do it like that. But it's up to us to know the law enough to say, okay, enough is enough. That is not not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Y'all, I appreciate y'all so much. I'm looking for something in this. I be posting stuff everywhere, y'all. Trying to trying to have me a place where I got so much information to share. But the fact that y'all know I'm not trying to be on the internet all the time, but y'all, we gotta get busy though, for real, y'all. Please promise me if y'all don't ever hear from me again, or if y'all hear of my demise, that y'all will say, well, y'all will still continue to do this battle. I'm telling y'all, we got to. We got to. And I appreciate y'all so much. Those that are really on this time, because you can tell. You can really tell. You can really tell. But I'm gonna get off this thing because I get a little emotional sometimes too, y'all. Y'all know it. It is beyond time to create a shared set of mutual interests for the American Indian autonomy. Yes, sir. Develop a strategic plan, and I see you got the means. And like I told you, I got some people to put that I'm working with, and we're gonna pull it all together, you know. And everybody who wants to do something, y'all know what I'm about over here, and y'all see. I always tell you, many is called, but few are chosen. And it ain't gonna be a lot of us to get this done, but we're gonna have to get it done and pave the way. You understand? We're gonna have to be the one to get it done, because we see where the riff at. I'm letting my children hear you so they know I didn't make this up. It's very real. Oh, for real? Let me wind my mouth. Oh, babies. Hey, babies. The babies listening to me. Okay. Babies, listen to your mama. Babies, listen to your mama. She's on the right track. She knows so much. Miss None Your Business, listen to your mother. She ain't leading you wrong, baby. They lied to us, and we didn't know no better. So, any children under the sound of my voice right now, if your mama telling you something about you not being black, and your school telling you you're black, don't listen to that. Listen to your mama. Please listen to your mama. And if your daddy there, listen to your daddy too, because they ain't going to mislead you. Though your school, your peer pressure, they will get into you so hard and make you think your parents is lying to you and don't love you. And then when it's all over with, they'll leave you. But your parents won't never leave you. You best to believe your parents will love you to the end and will help you to the end. So don't neglect your mama and don't forsake your father. Be good. Do what is right. And be truthful and honest. And to thine own self be true. To your own self be true. Don't lie to you. And don't let nobody else lie to you. You got to always be true. And you will always know it's all right. See? No fear. It'll cast off all your fear and everything because you trusted in your mama. See, she brought you here. She brought you here. But your daddy made you to be him. It was a work in progress. So don't get it twisted. You need your parents. So for the children, I love you and I always honor you. My mouth might be bad sometimes, but I didn't always talk like this. So forgive me if you hear a bad word come out of my mouth. But I'm gonna be watching now since I know some children listening at me. That's encouraging. Thank you so much, Nonya. I love you guys. Y'all the best. It's a couple people in here might have met me for real, for real. I'm like this all the time. I'm like this all the time, y'all. I love y'all. Shout out to the chat. And dark and light as pertains to interchangeable. So loose is love. Now, sister, you know you're gonna have to do a class on some of these words you be doing. You and Root Word need to do some work together. You and Root Word, that boy right there can break some stuff down. But you, I be looking at stuff in the chat and I be trying to figure it out sometimes. And you won't come up here. Y'all have a good night. Don't get up out for him. Let me see, can I fix this thing? Let me find my song right quick. Play my song out, y'all. Let's play my song. Oh, shoot. Where is the remote control? Ooh, y'all. Did I take it in here? I don't need to see my remote control no more. Oh. I don't know what I did with the remote, you guys. Hold on. Let me see. Uh-oh, just on my end, this y'all. I can't even find my remote. It should be. Oh. I'll take it over here. Here it is, you guys. This been fun, y'all.
The
I want y'all to
record of
get that
violence
video
shows
back,
the
though.
majority of the Klan's target.
I want y'all to watch that video, please. We're going to listen to some music. Yeah, I know I like a little music. It's Saturday night, too, y'all. It's early. It's just 10. Shout out to all the Mama Chiefs.
Shout out to the Mama Chiefs. Yeah, you be quiet when Big Mama speaks. What she gave us is a part of me. It flows through my arteries. Even on that journey, that love grows out of heartbeat. The first to teach us when we sick, the first to heal us. Mama's boy, yeah, you know.
You rest well too, my love.
Yeah, you know I'm an enjoy. Calm you down just by the sound of a voice.
He did, okay, yeah. I know I'm a, I know I'm a sport.
You and your siblings fighting, she gon' make you put the feelings aside. She can lead you down the road, but she can give you
I hope Ethan Hines still in here so she can hear my song.
I need a side of ice cream with them out that pie. You know what's up for Mama Chief, you know I'm a ride. Cause we all need a Mama Chiefs.
Hey.
Yeah, we all love a Mama Chiefs.
Shout out to Dre Cobb.
Foundation.
I see you, Dre.
So many generations, I'm motivation. I just want to thank you for my creation.
Shout out to OG Philly.
Yeah, we all need a Mama Chiefs.
Shout out to Key Norfolk.
Mama Chief.
Who else? Enemy Republic. All y'all.
Now look why your boy made it. You the reason I'm one of the greatest.
Hey, you got to tell you, baby.
Mama Chiefs.
What?
Yeah, we all love our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all rap for Mama Chief. Now be quiet, let Big Mama speak.
Y'all know it's always too short. Let's go again, y'all. Y'all know it.
Shout out to the Mama Chief. Yeah, you be quiet when Big Mama speak. What she gave us is a part of me. It flows through my arteries. Even on that journey, that love grows out of garden beat. The first to teach us when we sick, the first to heal us. Mama's boy, yeah, you know my pride and joy. Soul food, yeah, you know I'm an enjoy. Calm you down just by the sound of a voice. There isn't another feeling inside. When they cheer you on at your game, and you feeling the pride. You and your siblings fighting.
Yeah, shout out to all the Mama
She can lead
Chiefs.
you down the road, but she can give you the guide. Where you think I get that blissful look in my eyes? I need a side of ice cream with them eyes outside. You know what's up for Mama Chief, you know I'm a ride. Cause we all need a Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all love a Mama Chiefs. The greatness, the patience, the foundation. generation. The knowledge passed down so many generations. Our motivation. I just want to thank you for my creation. Because we all love our mama chiefs. Yeah, we all need a mama chiefs. Yeah, we all rap for Mama Chief. The dedication. I seen the tears at my graduation. And I'm the reason I'm one of the greatest. Yeah, because we all need a Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all love our Mama Chiefs. Yeah, we all rap for Mama Chief.
All right, baby, you be safe out there, and I love you, and
Now
I'll
be
see you
quiet, let
later.
this mama speak.
Talk to you soon. Okay, I certainly will. Oh, wow, Chris, I can't wait to talk to you, boo. Love you too, Tom.
Who they think they better than? Ain't no comparison to the so-called
I
black
want to do a
African
few songs
American.
with
You
y'all,
can
and y'all hang
African,
in
keep
with
the
me. Y'all gotta
American.
go.
When we
I
say
know you gotta
Aborigine
go.
and make they world end.
Enjoy your night.
My ancestors
Safe,
buried in. I come
but
from a
stay
planet that died,
dangerous.
so they make me. Not even Basquiat can trace me. Not even Van Gogh can paint me. The MC in me is the God MC. Who's the God in me? I'm focused in, let my mind be free. You too blind to see. The Jews I give is real. It's been real. These ain't shots, they missiles. All you gonna hear is the whistle. Lyrically, this the execution. My verses start revolutions. For my people seeking restitution. Since the beginning, fuck evolution. Or maybe my reality is all a dream. I put it together like I was so it seems. This is that audio dopamine. Go against the machine. Put you where nobody can hear the scream. And singing to meet your Elohim. My nigga, this is savage mode. It's something that you hate to go. It started with a spark and I'ma let it explode. I was given the cheat codes that'll let me dump and reload. And go through them waves like a fucking torpedo. You dealt the cards of life. I just cut them diamonds with the ace of spades. Y'all scatter like roaches when they facing raid. Or vampires when they facing blade. I'm trying to get next to charade like I'm getting played. You still stuck as a mental slave. You still stuck in that mental cage. While I'm making easy money, pimping hoes in style. This my coming of age. Proud born when I'm coming on stage. And when I'm done, they gonna be cheering my name. Drink cobs and nah, I ain't quit my day job. I spit bars. I really rap on my day off. That's real shit. Just give you some tools you can build with. Aim high even if you still miss. Just keep going. It's a climb to the top. And I'ma keep flowing. Down Lake Shore, I'm Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah.
You niggas playing checkers, we playing chess. And nigga, this is checkmate. Straight be the big dog, and you just a little bait. You out of Africa, and we ain't got the same traits. I'm a Ghanaian, and we ain't got the same fate. My granny died February 18th, and I was born on the same date. The chosen one, the ancestors' chosen son. They gave me the golden gun. One shot, that's a hole in one. From the pyramid of the sun, the poverty point. I don't think you niggas is getting the point. We still here. Who said they made that originals disappear? Your information's lagging in the rear. All you do is teach fear. We cop a couple when we here. Am I speaking clear? So fuck the nonsense. When I rap up such a consciousness, from within is when you get your self-confidence. Let's bring it back to dominance. Ain't no confining us. We'll bring that wild Indian out of us. Yeah.
Yeah. We still here, y'all. We still here, y'all.
They just wanna keep us asleep. I know this shit suck, but when the fuck when niggas wake up, I know this shit tough. Every other step you take, you get your foot stuck. Cause they go and show you the flowers some niggas pushed up. Religion is a part of the system, my nigga, listen. If you ain't got control of your soul, then you's a victim. The Pope fall over the net for politicians. The same politicians who sleeping with little children. Time to make them pay for what they did to the youth. But freedom of speech is nothing when they censoring truth. You ain't gotta show shit when you live in the proof. Giving support to your presence, man, you niggas is goofs. Time to fight fire with fire. Get on some nigga shit. Time to get back what they stole. All of our enemies.
Get it back.
Hate the way that I talk. This shit be spicy.
I
Say a
know.
bunch of shit that ain't true. It isn't likely. They try to say your vision ain't true. But with your sight see, the best way to tear you apart is through your psyche. I give it to you real. What you need me to say? Ask the world leaders about the oath they secretly take. It's a plan that they got to keep us legally slaves. Paid labor overwhelming when you needed a break. If you think that I'm just talking it, bitch, you lost. It's a war going on like rich versus poor. The rich keep getting rich while your broke ass starve. Feeding you little pennies at that punk ass job. Thinking cause you get it intact.
I like this one better than I like that one though. This is one I really like though, y'all. I like this one better than that one. But I like Dangerous Spirit. Shout out to you, Dangerous.
Class in session, so it's time for you to get the notes. The quickest way to sell your soul is when you niggas vote. This shit I'm kicking is forbidden, better listen, bro. A politician preaching love is the biggest joke. See what they do is use the shit as a tool. Got us focus on these fools and putting shit in our food. Fighting to free your mind is kinda hollow but true. This system make you a zombie if you follow the rules, so we rebel. But not too many live it to tell, till they find the cheat code using digital scales. Every night says a motive when your mission is failed. Heaven and hell collide like prison and jail. And you don't need religion just to say you awake. You even dumber than you look, you think you came from an ape. Religion needs science, science need religion. One tell the story and the other paint the picture. But listen, nigga, if you dig a little deeper, you can find that little rabbit in the mother of the reaper. I'm the best for a reason. Is the message in the speaker when the cosmos talking. That's a blessing from the ether. One day I met the devil for real and made a deal with him. Told him all I want is the money and kept it real with him. Came in the form of a thought I couldn't build with him. Shit, I was selling the fiends, was really killing him. Your gun bars ain't much if you gat don't shoot. I'm strapped and bulletproof like the Batman suit. All it takes is one snap to have my enemies killed. The laws of space and time, I defend them at will. Yeah, I'm in the world. That's something y'all cannot see. And living on the page that some of y'all cannot read. And right now they probably calling me cheap. Cause I decided it's enough and now I finally speak. Tell you the truth, I don't trust people who cheat. It's deeper than having sex, you give birth to deceit. If you see where this is going, this is true as can be. If you lie to the ones you love, then you do it to me. The cold word is rainy night. Niggas get wet outside, but ain't no rain in sight. They wonder where this come from. Ascension when it's all done. No reason to believe in a God when you become one. You understand. You can get it the same. Niggas will double cross you if you get them the fame. My soul ain't for sale just to get in the game. It's dangerous, homie. Just remember the name.
Dangerous, homie. Just remember the name. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna say good night,
Gourmet
y'all.
charcuterie.
For real, shut up. Hey, y'all, I'm gonna end this. And I appreciate the four that's still hanging up in here with me, y'all. Y'all know I love you back. You know I do. Good night. Y'all hold it down till next time, huh? Peace and love. Great continuation.